It's Honeycutt, MVP of the 2022 ACC Baseball Championship. His 24 home runs, Carolina freshman.
Beautiful day in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Temperatures in Super Regionals presented by Capital One. These two blue bloods have not met in 33 years. The last time they did so, it was in Omaha. One of these teams will get there and face the winner of Stanford and UConn, also beginning later on tonight. And with that, we say hello and welcome. He's the former Miami All-American, Gabby Sanchez. I am Mike Morgan. Gabby, you and I have had a chance to cover a number of these. You played at a Super Regional and got to Omaha. I think you can make the case this is the most tension that you'll see on the entire college baseball calendar.
Oh, absolutely. These players right now, the nerves. Guarantee you that last night, most of these players were looking at the clock on the hour. Is it time yet? Is it ready to go? Because we want to get things going. We want to get to Omaha already. Let's win too. So for these players right now, they're feeling those butterflies in their stomachs. It's anxious, but it's that good anxious, getting out there wanting to play baseball.
We've got a lot of stars throughout the Super Regionals across the country. We've got some big ones here in Chapel Hill. Not many are true freshmen, though, like Vance Honeycutt.
No, Vance Honeycutt, just an uber athlete. 6'3", 190 pounds. This kid could hit the ball out of any single park. He can go right field. He can go left center. His defense is incredible. A five-tool player. This was him stealing a home run against Georgia to get them against VCU, where they ended up winning those two games to get them to this point right now.
Special-looking athlete, potential first-round pick in a couple of years. A guy that's going to be a first-round pick in a couple of weeks is a terrific sophomore, the third baseman, Caden Wallace.
Yeah, Caden Wallace. He is a 21-year-old. field, so he can go in the draft, and he is projected to go late in the first round. He is the heart of this lineup. When he goes, the team goes. 4 home runs in regionals, 8 RBIs. He was doing it all. They need him to continue that success here today if they want to beat this UNC team.
And he plays elite defense at the hot corner as well. Things are heating up here in Chapel Hill. Starting lineups, first pitch coming up. The NCAA Baseball Super Regionals are presented by Capital One. What is in your wallet? Mike Morgan, Gabby Sanchez, great to be with you. The fans continuing to file in. We've got the early bird special here, 11 a.m. Eastern time. That has not thinned out the crowd as all, an overflow crowd here at the Bosch. Gabby, everybody wants a hot pitcher this time of year. The Tar Heels have that in Max Carlson.
Oh, they definitely do. He's won his last 3. He's been outstanding here as of late. He has a 4-pitch mix. The fastball can be up to 96. I would not be surprised, because of all the adrenaline that's running through his body, that you might even see a tick above that. Changeup is his secondary pitch because of his whippy arm action. Has really good arm action with that changeup.
He'll be going up against an Arkansas lineup which has been a little bit Jekyll and Hyde this year. When they are on, they can be lethal, and they were certainly on in the Stillwater Regional. 11 runs a game they averaged, 12 home runs they hit. We talked about Wallace, but Michael Turner has been the most consistent players in the lineup, the starting catcher. Yeah, you're right. We talked about what Caden Wallens did with the 4 home runs, but boy, Michael Turner was great. 11 RBIs in 4 games. That's tied for 3rd most in regional round with those 11 RBIs. He's been great. These two teams last met in Omaha, of all places, 33 years ago. They both have been routine programs in the postseason. They have both made it to Omaha a number of times. But this year, it feels a little bit extra special for one of these teams to advance. If Arkansas or North Carolina get there, one out of the 2 will. As Carlson gets ready to face off against Braden Webb. jumps on the first one he sees and fouls it away. We are underway here in Chapel Hill. Carlson will try to navigate through an Arkansas lineup that'll feature 5 batters hitting from the left side against the right-hander Carlson. Fastball, foul tip into the mitt of Frick. Quickly down in the count is Webb. No balls, 2 strikes to Carlson, the sophomore out of Savage, Minnesota. This is his 25th start of his young career. Webb, the senior out of McKinney, Texas, 274 average, 14 home runs, and leads the team in walks with 38. A good eye at the plate. He was 3 for 13 in the Stillwater Regional. Count evens up, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Arkansas comes in 18-12 in the SEC. They went 0-2 in the SEC tournament. The Tar Heels went 4-0 to win the ACC tournament in nearby Charlotte. 2-2 on the way and hit high and deep to right. Zarate backing up at the warning track, makes the catch in front of the 340 sign for out number 1.
That's a long first out, and I like the way that Arkansas is going up there against Carlson. They're waiting for that fastball. They're being aggressive early, and I think that's what you need to do against a guy like Carlson. You know you're going to get those heavy fastballs. You know the velocity is going to be there. So be aggressive early, get that foot down, and see if you could drive this ball out of the ballpark like they did in regionals. Because 12 home runs in regionals, it doesn't matter what they did in the SEC tournament. It's what you're doing lately. And lately, they're hitting a lot of homers.
Yeah, both these teams went bombs away in their regionals. The Razorbacks hit 12 long balls. The Tar Heels hit 14, respectively. Arkansas 98 homers. North Carolina with 100. So a lot of pop in both these lineups. We could see a number of home runs in what has been a hitter-friendly ballpark in the Bosch. Brady Slavens, the designated hitter, the senior out of Oweth, Kansas. Former Wichita State Shocker who went through a menacing slump at the beginning of the year, was benched for a few games before he finally found his stroke again. Home runs in 2 years at Arkansas for Slavens, and he is a pull-happy hitter. And so you will see a lot of shifting against him. He has seen this all year long around the SEC, and now the Tar Heels are accommodating him the same way. Soul roller right into the shift. And that'll be an easy out. Wilkerson is the second baseman, and he's been the difference defensively for the Tar Heels. They were scuffling on defense. They subtracted a little bit of offense to get Wilkerson's glove at second, and since then, they have played elite defense. They're really strong up the middle with Wilkerson, Soretti, and Honeycutt roaming center field.
Yeah, let's not forget Frick behind home plate, who does a really good job with his pitching staff, and they're very, very strong. Wilkerson has been that big boost that they needed on defense. Yeah, you subtract a little bit of offense, but when we talked to Coach Forbes, he said, hey, you look at the average, it's not what he really does. He could hit a fastball, and then what he did in regionals was 429 average in regionals, so he is starting to come along with that bat as well.
Speaking of great regionals, how about the regional for Caden Wallace? As he skies one to right, Zarate getting some cardio in early, flags down another one in deep right field, and a 1-2-3 inning for Carlson on an 11-pitch inning. No score. Tar Heels coming up. Gabby Sanchez, Mike Morgan back with you at the Bosch. Connor Nolan will try to match zeros with Max Carlson. He's a senior and a guy that has this valuable experience, Gabby, a guy you want in game number 1.
He is, and the reason why, he is a strike thrower. He's going to go right after these UNC hitters. He has a 4-pitch mix, but he's only going to really use that curve on the slider. Occasionally, every once in a while, he might throw that changeup, but it's going to be predominantly fastball, slider, and like big curveball. Both those pitches are very, very good pitches for him.
Well, the quarterback on the football team, Connor Nolan, and he'll be facing a red-hot Tar Heel lineup. Not a whole lot of holes in this lineup for UNC. We talked about Honeycutt. Danny Soretti, the shortstop, has been playing terrific baseball, and Alberto Osuna also delivers a whole lot of pop. Osuna on the season with 20 home runs and 57 runs driven in.
Yeah, everybody was talking about Vance Honeycutt kind of overshadowing what Danny Soretti has done, especially his last 22 games where he has a .418 average. One of the big reasons why they went on that nice run of 19-3 in those 22 games.
Tar Heels had to fight their way through the loser's side of the bracket here at home. They lost their first game to VCU, barely held on to defeat Georgia in an elimination game, and then had to beat VCU twice in order to advance. All the while, the bats were scorching hot. They'll try to carry that momentum into this super regional. Zarate laces one on the first pitch he sees.
Boy, both these teams have come out swinging. Zarate does the same thing, gets a fastball up in the zone and drives it right in that 4-hole to get on base. So both teams are doing the same thing. Come out aggressive and let's swing this bat.
100th hit of the season for Angel Zarate. So he is now part of an elite club in Tar Heel history. He's hit safely in 15 out of the last 16. Horvath hammers one foul. And they are jumping all over Connor Nolan here in the early going.
Well, it's kind of what you want to do against Nolan. You want to attack that fastball. He has a very good slider and a very good curveball. You don't want to get to those pitches. So when you get your fastball to hit, you got to be ready to jump all over it.
Horvath, the sophomore out of Rochester, Minnesota. A tapper to third. Wallace gloves and guns to second for one on the first. Not quickly enough, not hit sharply enough to turn two. But you see some of the defensive skills that have scouts excited about not only what Wallace can do with the bat, but the way he fields the hot corner.
Oh, that's a beautiful play by Wallace. He comes in, throws off balance to second base, and it was a strike. And that's what you want to see, especially as a scout. How good can he handle the hot corner? Well, he just showed right there his athleticism is coming into play.
And now Danny Soretti, a junior from Berkeley Heights, New Jersey. 3 home runs in the regional. 10 home runs on the season for Soretti. Third base umpire Brian Marine went around. Crowd disagrees, but never mess with a guy with the last name Marine.
Or with those guns, too. Yes, sir. Yes, I did. All right, let's go next pitch here.
Fair enough. Who am I to argue? Soretti, a switch hitter, one of 3 Tar Heels that will hit lefty against the righty Connor Nolan, who has a team best 8 quality starts. He had 3 starts as a true freshman in that postseason run to Omaha back in 2019. That's a slicer hit down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Horvath speeding around second, parks at third, and coasting into second is Soretti with a double.
And Soretti just shows he is staying hot. This is a fastball, slicing it down that left field line. It does hit, it does fade, Serretti starts to run. Horvath was on his horse. It's a great job by Gregory in left field to be able to get that ball, get his body into position to get it in, to be able to keep Horvath at third base. Now you have man on second and third with Honeycutt coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if you try to pitch carefully against Honeycutt. You can put him at first base and put yourself in order to get that ground ball double play.
They have been on everything Nolan has thrown thus far. Connor Nolan going to have to work with some traffic on the diamond here in the first. And he's going to face one of the best freshmen in all of college baseball, Vance Honeycutt, out of Salisbury, North Carolina. Already as a freshman tied the single season record with home runs, 24. First 2020 player in Tar Heel history, the only 2020 freshman in America, and one of just 2 players to eclipse that mark in all of college baseball. He has started all 62 games in center field. Elite defense, remarkable speed, kind of flew under the radar coming out of high school. He was a scrawny kid who was known more as a football player, a quarterback that led his team to a state championship. Tar Heels got him early, and boy, did they find a gem.
And doing exactly what I thought. You're going to pitch him carefully, see if he wants to expand the zone and swing at that slider, that curveball off the plate. You don't really want to give him anything good to hit. Be careful in this situation on 3-0, because I guarantee you that Forbes is saying if they want to give you a cookie, go ahead and get after it. I can expect another off-speed pitch, something out of the zone, maybe a fastball up out of the zone as well.
Didn't look like he had any interest, much like you alluded to, Gabby. Any interest in challenging Honeycutt. Take your chances here with Osuna. But you're not out of the woods yet. Osuna's got 20 bombs on the year. Bases loaded, 1 out. And the Tar Heels sensing blood in the water right now.
Yeah, but it's a smart move. Osuna, not a really fast runner down the line. You have a good sinker baller on the mound, a guy who can get a lot of ground balls. Now you can play your infield. If you want, you can play corners in, you can play corners back, just because of the speed of Osuna. Osuna, what he's going to be looking for is something that's up in the zone. Doesn't want to swing at anything down. Look at balls up in the zone, something you can drive to the outfield.
Tried to bust him inside on a fastball. Again, that one goes at 91. Nolan does not have your typical Friday, or in this case Saturday, electric stuff. Pitches to contact, devastating breaking ball at times, and a bulldog on the mound. That ball gets by, but it takes a fortuitous bounce right back to the catcher Turner, so no time to advance.
That's a good pitch by Nolan, trying to see if Osuna is going to be aggressive on that second pitch. You're down. You threw a fastball in. All right, let's see if he wants to be aggressive. If he's guessing on another fastball, throws that curveball down in the dirt and gets a swing and a miss. And that was a great bounce off the back wall to come right back to Turner.
A Sunday hop on a Saturday off the backstop. Now a 1-1 pitch. And that is over the plate for strike 2. See Scott Forbes now in his second year as the head coach of the Tar Heels. Long-time assistant coach, now the head coach, and trying to make his first trip as the head coach to Omaha. Swing and a miss. Big time pitch there from Connor Nolan to retire Osuna.
Just another good slider right on the outside corner. You got strike 2 with it, where Osuna took. All of a sudden, you're going to throw it again. Osuna understands, okay, you're throwing it for a strike. I need to be aggressive. That one off the plate, gets the swing and a miss, and a big, big strikeout for Nolan.
If he can somehow get out of this mess in the first inning, huge momentum for Arkansas. And Mikey Madej will try to have something to say about it, the senior from Shorewood, Illinois. A .329 hitter on the year. Madej, a switch hitter, riding a 14-game hitting streak into this super regional.
He had himself a nice regional as well, hitting 375, did have a home run and 8 RBIs, so he has been swinging it very, very good as of late.
High stress inning here for Connor Noland in the first. Day is a guy who really, this is what college baseball used to be before things like the transfer portal. You waited, you matured over the years. He struggled in his first 2 seasons with the Tar Heels, hit just 163, a career high 329 this year. The light came on and he has gotten much better in his final campaign. A bullet off of Nolan, only play to first, and he makes it. What a job by the senior Connor Nolan. Never panicked, took the line drive and made the play.
Oh my, what a play with bases loaded. Right off of Nolan, doesn't panic, picks it up and gets the final out.
Tomorrow on the ESPN family of networks. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. What a start we had last night. Tennessee goes down to the team that you and I saw at the Statesboro Regional in person, Notre Dame. Notre Dame doesn't hit a whole lot of home runs. Arkansas does, 98, second most in program history. Last year they led the country with 109 and lost a heartbreaker at home, ranked #1 in America, to NC State in Game 3. Middle of the lineup due up against Carlson. It'll be Turner, Lanzilli, and Robert Moore. Michael Turner, boy, where would they be without this guy? A transfer from Kent State. He was an all-MAC performer there. In the left with some sink, and it'll drop down in front of Madej. First base runner for the Razorbacks.
Mike, we talk about momentum swing. Well, how about having bases loaded with 1 out, being able to get out of that, and all of a sudden you come up to hit. Turner comes up, base hit, gets on base for the first hit for Arkansas. Get things rolling.
Yeah, you feel like if you're Arkansas, you just took one of the best punches the Tar Heels have to offer. Now the other transfer. Really, the lineup has been led. The most consistent players this year have been the 2 transfers, Turner and this man, Chris Lanzilli. In the world of the transfer portal, you can get a Power 5 player that hit 42 home runs like Lanzilli did. He hit 42 at Wake Forest. That's 8th all time in Wake Forest history. He's hit 8 more this year in a Razorback uniform. The connection, in case you're wondering, how does a young man decide he wants to leave Wake and go to Arkansas? Matt Hobbs, the pitching coach, was at Wake Forest when Lanzilli started his career in Winston-Salem. Now, of course, Hobbs is with Arkansas, and so too is the slugger. High and tight on the fastball at 93 miles an hour from Carlson. Carlson's last 3 starts, a 3-0 mark, a 3.00 earned run average. And a Tar Heel team that has been smoking hot. Wide of the bag at third, foul. Tar Heels have won 19 out of the last 22 games to get here. That includes the 4-0 mark that you saw, Gabby, in Charlotte in the ACC tournament. They hit a rough spot in the season. They got swept by Virginia. They lost 5 out of 6 in ACC play, and people were saying, I don't know about this team. And then they swept FSU, continued to get the ball rolling, made some changes like we talked about, Wilkerson at second. They have not looked back since. 2-2, he went. And now they retire Lanzilli.
And one of the good things that Carlson does, he's able to move that fastball in and out. And in doing so, as a hitter, you start to creep open that front side. And in creeping open that front side, well, you're going to get that slider right off the plate, and you're going to get the swings and misses. And you're right, when you look at this UNC ball club, they got swept by Virginia. And after that Virginia sweep, that's when they went 19-3. And we talked to some players, we talked to some coaches. What was the biggest thing? Well, Wilkerson was that big thing. They had to go back and look and say, where have we been struggling? And it was at that second base. Not that the second baseman was doing anything wrong. You had a better hitter. But it was almost that addition by subtraction. You're going to subtract some offense to get that better defense. All of a sudden, the team ERA went from a 4 to a 3. And pitching started being better. The defense was being better. And then all of a sudden, the hitter started to come around.
It all came together at the right time, and they carry that momentum into this Super Regional. Robert Moore in search of some momentum. The switch hitter rockets one into deep center field. Honeycutt on his horse, and he'll slow up shy of the track for the second out. See what North Carolina was the first 40 games. Quite frankly, they were average. A 2.77 average. The ERA not impressive. This was a team that had a rough go of it last year. The expectations were not super high this year. But then they turned it on. And the veterans came around, as well as a sensational freshman in Vance Honeycutt. And now they're 2 wins away from Omaha. Here's the rangy shortstop, Jalen Battles, who's known for his elite play defensively, but he can heat up in a hurry at the plate. He's hit safely in 8 of the last 9. 293 hitter with 10 home runs on the year. And is called a ball by home plate umpire Angel Campos. Scott Kennedy over there at first saying Battles did not go around. And a 2-0 count to the senior from San Antonio, Texas. Turner with a modest lead at first. Pitch up, high strike at the letters. So 2-1 to count on Battles.
Like, when you look at this Arkansas team up and down the lineup, every single guy can hit the ball out of the ballpark. There is just no room for error as a pitcher.
Swing and a miss, strike 2. Well, it's an Arkansas team that had very lofty expectations coming in. Preseason top 10. I think most people, including myself, working a lot of SEC games, considered Arkansas the second most complete and talented team in the Southeastern Conference, but they didn't always play like it. 2-2, hit on the ground, left side. Horvath rifles to first in time. So after the leadoff single by Turner, Carlson sets him down in order. Still no score from the Bosch. Welcome back to NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. Mike Morgan, Gabby Sanchez from Chapel Hill. Two blue bloods going at it for the right to go to Omaha. Neither program is a stranger to the College World Series. This is kind of like a Crash Davis dubious honor. Most World Series appearances, but without winning at all. Florida State 23, Clemson 12, and then the Tar Heels and the Razorbacks 11 and 10 respectively. On top of that, both these programs are coming off heartbreak hotel supers in their last appearances. It was Arkansas last year, #1 in the country almost all year long. They won every series. They lose at home in Game 3 to NC State. And at this ballpark 3 years ago, the last time the Tar Heels were in a super, they lost Game 3 to the Auburn Tigers. So both trying to exercise a few demons here this weekend and get back to the promised land and maybe, just maybe, get over that final hump and claim the first national championship in school history, much like Mississippi State finally did last year. Tomas Frick will start things off. Pops one up on the infield. Battles the shortstop, will call for it and make the grab in front of the bag at second.
Mike, I love the way that Nolan had to come out. First inning, aggressive with the fastball. All of a sudden, USC is all over it. They're hitting balls in the gap. They're hitting balls hard. So what do you do as a pitcher? Well, why not pitch backwards? Let's see. I'm going to make a change. I'm going to see if UNC can follow my change. Well, go ahead, throw me a strike with a curveball, throw another slider, then throw the fastball later in the count. It's beautiful to watch a pitcher work in that way. Understanding the situation, understanding where he is coming from. Okay, they got me with the fastball. I'm going to change it up on him.
Nolan has gone strike one to 6 of the 8 batters he's faced, including Stokely at the plate. Little tapper, and Nolan showing off his defensive abilities twice now for Arkansas. 2 up, 2 down here in the home half. Connor Nolan, again, you'll see the rest of this Super Regional. They've got Hagen Smith, who has got ridiculous stuff as a freshman, and then Wiggins is a future first rounder with a huge arm. So why Connor Nolan in game 1? It's the reasons you're seeing. Been there, done that. Knows how to overcome adversity, the likes of which he saw in the first inning. They made us wait yesterday during practice for hours before they finally told us he'd be the starter in game 1. And that's the assignment so far as Wilkerson is aboard. The 9-hole hitter socks one in the left field.
And Wilkerson, he is staying hot. He's saying, listen, I'm not just a defensive guy. I could go up there and swing. This is a 2-seam fastball in on the hands. Nolan actually calls it a 1-seam fastball, but he's able to get that bat head through and keep it fair, which is not easy. That means he kept those hands real close and tight to that body. And we talked about it, 429 average in regionals, and he stays hot now in supers.
Traffic each inning now for the Tar Heels. Back to the top of the order in Zarate, who collected hit number 100 in his first at bat, becoming the 11th Tar Heel all-time to do so. The redshirt junior out of Reidsville, North Carolina, led the team in doubles with 19 and has now hit safely in 15 out of the last 16 games. Line shot speared by Stovall at first. Another hit ball, but it's the third out of an 8-pitch inning.
Mike, you know I love great plays by a first baseman. Well, here he comes off the base. It's a line drive. Oh, get down to a knee and make a spectacular play.
Omaha is the ultimate goal for everybody, and these two conferences have led the way in appearances since we've had this format in '99. No conferences have had more teams in the College World Series than the SEC and the ACC. It's the second straight year that these two leagues have led the Super Regionals in appearances. 5 teams remain out of the SEC, 4 out of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Stovall, Gregory, and then back to the top end, Braden Webb. Peyton Stovall, very talented freshman. He's healthy again. He's out of Houghton, Louisiana, same hometown as our own Todd Walker. Extremely high expectations coming out of high school. Turned down a lot of money. Was projected to be a first-round draft pick. Wanted to play in college and chose Arkansas. Swing and a miss. Completely blown by him. Max Carlson serving up some heat.
Max Carlson, this was going to be a setup pitch, a fastball up in the zone. Stovall swings at it, just can't get on top of it. Foot was down, just a little bit underneath that baseball.
Carlson breezing early on. Retiring 7 out of the first 8 Razorbacks. Here's the 9-hole hitter, Zach Gregory. Gregory, a redshirt junior out of Keller, Texas. 5'10", 190 pounds. He's hitting .232 on the year, but that does not tell the story. His on-base percentage is .443. So one way or another, Zach Gregory knows how to get on base. He's walked 32 times. He also leads the team in hit by pitch. And, you know, two men that are often confused with one another. My esteemed partner, Gabby Sanchez, and Brad Pitt, the star of the movie Moneyball. What's the bottom line of that movie? What's the bottom line of Zach Gregory? What does he do, Gabby, that's most valuable?
Well, he gets on base.
Gets on base.
And that's what it is. Billy Bean right now would be drafting this man easily. Can he get on base? We want on base percentage. Well, guess what? That's what you're getting out of Gregory. I don't care how you do it. Walks, hit by pitches, as long as you're on first, you're going to be able to score.
32 walks, 16 hit by pitch.
That's a lot of ice bags.
Yes, it is. 2-1 from the right-hander taken, and there's a prime example of the eye that Zach Gregory possesses. So a really good guy to have in the 9-hole. And drop a bunt if you need one. Arkansas averaged 11 runs a game in Stillwater. And what a regional that was. .3-1 pitch hit into the stands, full of Carolina blue. To our left, the Woo Pig Suey crowd is to our right in Cardinal red, first base side. And again, they were only allotted 600 tickets. They were very vocal about the fact they wanted more. If you were selling tickets on the secondary market, you probably got a good price for an Arkansas fan to get in the building here today. Full count on Gregory. Launched to into left center. Madej slows up now and makes the catch for out number 2. Here's our Sunday night baseball matchup. It's the Mets versus Shohei Ohtani and the Angels on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Our coverage beginning at 6 Eastern with baseball tonight. Sunday night countdown. Boy, the Angels were really scuffling there for a while. Got off to a hot start, then couldn't do much right. Now trying to get back on track. Back to the top of the order in Braden Webb. Webb flied out to right to start this game. He gave it a ride, but the dimensions here at the Bosch are rather unique. Because at some parts, it's very hitter friendly. Not so much down the lines. It's 355 in right center. That's pretty hitter friendly. But if we pan over to the right field corner, there's your 355. Where Webb hit that fly ball in the first inning, it's 340 feet. So that would have been a home run in some yards that he has seen this season. That is a swing and a smash, and it'll bounce right in front of Madej. So Webb has stung it hard twice, and now we'll have a single to show for it.
And that's what you need to do against Carlson. When he falls behind in the count, be ready. And that's exactly what Webb does. He smokes this ball to left field. It's a top spinner. It's a line drive, and you're right. That's the second ball that he has hit well today. And in other parts, his first debut probably would be leaving. 340 down the right field line is a far poke. And that's what I would love about this ballpark when I was playing here. I like that right center field gap. And 355, ooh, that looks enticing to me over there.
That's very tantalizing for sure. And of course, both these teams have been cranking out home runs. Look at that
S right there. Look at that curve. Deep, and then let's bring that back in for the guys, and then we're going to go deep again in center to 400.
That is a unique look right there at the porch in right field here at the Bosch. By the way, I was talking about how hard a ticket this was. If you look past the right center field fence, standing room only. I don't know if people paid for those seats, but that is the field hockey stadium is right behind us in right field, and those fans got a bird's eye view. Wherever you can cram them in this weekend, that's going to be the goal. The Bosch seats about 4,000. You include standing room only, and anywhere else you can find a seat. We should have noise emanating from about 5,000 plus fans here in Chapel Hill all weekend long. 0-1 the count on Brady Slavens. .29 home runs in 2 years in an Arkansas uniform for Slavens. Popped it up left side of the infield. And it'll be Horvath putting it away. Side retired. Carlson gets the job done, and we are still scoreless in Chapel Hill. Terrific crowd on hand here at Boshamer Stadium. The Tar Heels trying to get back to Omaha. This has been a roller coaster year, really, for Scott Forbes' bunch. They started 18-3, much of that, of course, non-conference, and then they started the labor in ACC play, went 5-14 at one point defensively. They were not in order. Pitching staff struggled, but then the last 22 games, couple of changes, momentum, confidence, and a 19-3 run, propelling them to another super regional. The first one since 2019, and the first one for Scott Forbes as a head coach. Now, he's been there, done that as an assistant, 20 years an assistant for Coach Fox with this program. It's kind of funny. We were talking to Scott Forbes yesterday, and he said, my whole family grew up NC State fans. And I was all about the Wolfpack, and then Mike Fox hired him as an assistant 20 some odd years ago. And now he can't stand the Wolfpack, not surprisingly, and he is all about Carolina blue.
Well, one of the guys that we talked to too yesterday, Zalate, he told us we wouldn't be in the position we are right now if it wasn't for those struggles that we had to go through. And sometimes that happens with a team. You're struggling, how good are we? Can we come out of it? And if we can, it makes us stronger as a team. And that's how you go on those 19-3 runs in those 22 games to get to this point.
You saw it with Tennessee last night. You saw it with Arkansas last year. Being #1 all season long doesn't guarantee you anything. And it really becomes a matter, how good are you in these super regionals? I mean, that's going to dictate a lot. You could be terrific for 60 some odd games, and all you got to do is stub your toe a couple of times in a super and you're done.
Oh, not only that, you start to look at things and say stuff. Oh boy, what a good sinker that was. And that's that one seamer that he calls it. It's going to be a lot of movement. It's a fastball that starts basically away and dips right down underneath the bat. Looks like a strike the whole entire way until it isn't. And as a hitter, boy, that is a tough pitch because you have to swing at it, and you're just going to swing right on top.
That is melted ice cream from Connor Noland. And Horvath swinging on one plane, the ball landing on another. That, in a nutshell, is Connor Noland at his best. And Noland had a really good start in the regional and then had a bullpen appearance against Oklahoma State. And of course, there were about 1,000 runs scored in that regional. He got roughed up by the Cowboys, lasted just a third, gave up 3 earned runs. 1-0 pitch, chopped to the right side, ranging over is Moore. Beautiful play by the second baseman. He might have struggled with the bat some this year, but the defense has been elite all year long.
Oh, I got to see him practice a little bit yesterday, and I was seeing him make some plays. He has so much range at second base, and Moore gets out there, and it's that quick flip, not an easy throw. You think, oh, that's just routine. It's not. I can get a lot of guys to go out there and try to make that play, and that's going to be an overthrow at first. He is confident. He has body control. Just a really nice play out there.
Now the freshman All-American Vance Honeycutt drew a walk his first time up.
And for Vance Honeycutt, it's one of the things that we look at. Where are they playing? Well, it's straight pool. And guess what? He's not a guy that's going to go to right field. He's saying, you want to play me pool? I know that you're going to throw me in. I have quick enough hands to be able to get my hands inside of that zone. And here's the thing. If you're Noland, you have to be careful with him because you do not want to leave that pitch out over the plate.
Smashes that one to left field, a base hit. They call him the sponge, the way he was able to soak in so much information as a true freshman.
And not only that, here's what we talk about. You make one little mistake, just leave a pitch out over the zone. He's going to make you pay, and he does it. His first AB, basically, it's an unintentional, intentional walk where you're going to put him out first with guys in scoring position. And that's the reason why you do it, because he can hurt you. And guess what? When he's at first base, he likes to steal. 29 for 34 in stolen bases. He will steal second. He can steal third. He's a guy that can run, one of the fastest guys on this field.
So Noland's bid for a clean inning is denied by Honeycutt. And you talk about the speed by Honeycutt. It's beyond elite. In fact, Scott Forbes likened the speed to one Trey Turner, who started at NC State. Talking about a guy who's led the majors in stolen bases, one of the fastest guys at that level. So in addition to the power, the arm, and everything else that Honeycutt has in his repertoire, the speed is that good.
Is the slide as good as Turner's?
That I can't say. That's pretty darn graceful what Trey's able to do.
It's the most beautiful slide you will ever see, and it's the speed that helps him do it. But I mean, it looks so pretty when he slides as he's turning, standing up. You're like, how does a person do that?
It's not easy to showboat a slide, but Trey Turner can do it. Osuna cuts and misses. 1 ball, 1 strike to the slugging designated hitter who was a strikeout victim his first time up.
And Nolan is just basically doing what he did the first AB. I'm going to keep throwing you my breaking balls until you make the adjustment. If you're not going to make the adjustment, I'm going to keep throwing. You're going to keep swinging and missing them.
2-1. Fairly good zip on the fastball for Nolan at 92.
And especially when Ozuna's looking for that breaking ball. You go ahead and zip a 91-mile-an-hour two-seamer, especially right on the outside corner, it's going to freeze up a hitter.
Pulled off that one, 2-2.
And that's what he did his first AB. I'm going to just keep going there. I'm going to keep throwing that slider away, make that adjustment. You don't want to do it, I'm going to keep going. And if I'm Nolan, it's going to be another slider on the outside corner. Don't mess around with the fastball and leave something over the plate.
Turner puts up the target at 2-2. Bounced foul.
How about those hands by Forbes there? Glove? I don't need a glove.
Ah.
Hey, this is Ozuna hitting the ball. This is not coming off easy. Look at that. Get himself ready, prepared, gets his eyes underneath the baseball. Some good work there.
That was a little swag there he threw in on that play. Letting you know he still got it. Former star for UNC Wesleyan. That's where he ran into one Mike Fox. Mike Fox was the head coach at UNC Wesleyan. Scott Forbes played for him. Then Foxy gets the job in Chapel Hill, and Scott Forbes soon followed as an assistant coach.
Well, Stovall right here, he's going to play off. Go ahead, Honeycutt. It's a 3-2 count. We know that you're going to be moving. And I love what Forbes told Ozuna there. Stay on it. He's thinking the same thing as I am. You're going to get another slider here. Stay on this pitch.
Payoff on the way. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Second time he gets Ozuna. And the third punch out for Connor Nolan. Another 0 on the board in Chapel Hill.
Lemons, lemons, lemons.
The only man in America that looks more stylish than our own Mike Rooney in a bucket hat is that man, Roy Williams, in a fedora. Three-time national championship coach. No stranger to the Bosch. He comes to a lot of the games. He's been to Omaha multiple times to watch his Tar Heels play in the College World Series and trying to perhaps take another trip out there. Both these teams 2 wins away. Best 2 out of 3 format here in the Super Regional. Arkansas and Carolina have been to the Supers several times. Dave Van Horn has been a number of times. He's actually led Arkansas to 6 World Series. Wallace, deep short. Soretti, no chance. Wallace with decent speed. And hit deep in the hole to Soretti, an infield single.
Wallace hits this ball good. Soretti does a great job of getting to this baseball. How about this Derek Jeter-esque throw off the jump? Just not able to get it to first base, but the reason why he did that is because of Wallace' speed down the first baseline. He knows he doesn't have enough time to plant that back leg and make a hard throw. Has to get it out quick.
Second time Arkansas has had the leadoff man aboard. Carlson, meanwhile, hasn't had to throw more than 15 pitches in a single inning. Turner to the plate. Takes a fastball strike at 92. It's kind of hard to believe these two programs, as much as they are consistently in the postseason and battling for World Series appearances, they haven't met since Omaha in 1989. So 33 years ago was the last time we've seen an Arkansas-North Carolina matchup.
We also got told yesterday that this is the first time that Arkansas has actually played here at this stadium.
That's right. Turner trying to stay alive at an 0-2 count. Comes right at him and blows it by him.
Turner there, he was thinking, I'm going to get something off speed, and you can see it with the way that he swung about a day late. And that's just because I'm looking for something off speed. Oh boy, it's going to be a fastball for a strike. Let me see if I could just foul it off. And that's all that swing was, to try to just foul off that pitch.
That's the third strikeout for Carlson. Again, 3-0 in his last 3 starts. A pop-up by Lanzilli. And coming down the line is Stokely. Second out of the inning, as we remind you, for around-the-clock multi-game coverage, scores, and highlights. Check out Squeeze Play, available on ESPN Plus throughout the college baseball super regionals. I mentioned the Professor Mike Rooney. He'll be doing great work there again. If you missed last weekend and you missed Squeeze Play, I mean, even if your team is not in this or you're not a regular fan of college baseball, if you sat and watched that coverage, I dare say you'll become a fan of college baseball. So much entertainment, so much terrific play and memorable moments throughout the regional rounds. And that's just to get to this point. We'll have plenty more memories as 8 teams will punch their ticket to Omaha in the College World Series for these super regionals.
And how fun is it when you have the Professor Rooney talking about let's go quadratic.
Your ordinary human can't go quadratic, but Mike Rooney is wired differently. That's been well established by scientists across the globe. Runner goes, delayed steal by Wallace, and he'll be there easily.
Oh, that's beautiful by Wallace. And that's not just set up right now. He has been setting that up the whole entire time, taking that big secondary, seeing where the guys are. Here he is. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take my secondary, and I'm going to take off running. He sees that nobody's coming into cover. It's an easy stolen base. Frick tries to get it out, but you're not going to get a guy like Wallace running. Just a very smart baseball player.
Arkansas not very frisky on the base pass. It's not a big part of their game. However, Wallace 12 for 13 now in steals. One of the many tools he possesses, which is why he's going to be a late first-round draft pick in all likelihood. A runner in scoring position, 2 down for big hit Bob, Robert Moore. He earned that nickname with all the big hits he hit last year. And trying to pick up some more this year in his sophomore season. Again, it's not been nearly the same year. A .228 batting average coming in. Half the home runs that he hit a season ago as a freshman. Tape is everywhere. Pitchers adjust. Robert Moore is trying to get back on track.
That's how they're playing you, too. All of a sudden, now everybody shifts on you. Everybody's on the right side of that infield. Now you're getting pitched to a little bit differently inside. You start to pull that front hip, and you leave that big side of the field open.
That one comes in on him and nails him right near the lower back.
Well, that's one you don't mind when you have 2 strikes on you. You can see the way that they're trying to pitch, and they want to pitch him in. They want to pitch towards that shift, and it's just a fastball that gets away from Carlson. Boy, ow. That's the one where it hits you, and you, oh boy, that hurt. And you go down to first base, but then when you get there, you go, all right, we got man on first and second. Let's do something here.
Fight the pain. Feel the power.
Don't rub it. Don't rub it.
I don't know if he can reach that. It's right in the small of the back. There's Battles. 7-hole hitter, 0 for 1 today. Former draft pick of the Philadelphia Phillies out of high school. They didn't think Jalen Battles would be back. He kept telling Coach Dave Van Horn, I think I'm going to come back for my senior year. And Dave Van Horn said, yeah, right, whatever. You're going to be drafted high. It's been nice knowing you. And then Jalen kept texting him, if I come back, will you let me wear number 2? That's the long-time number that used to be worn by Dave Van Horn. Dave said, yeah, okay, if you come back, I'll give you number 2. I'll find another number. And to everybody's surprise, Jalen Battles decided to come back, and there he is wearing the number 2.
I guarantee you that Coach Dave Van Horn said, do I really have to give you number 2? Come on now.
Could be worth it if Battles comes through here. And he's got a 3-0 count.
Yeah, if you're Carlson, you got to be careful here. Battles has a lot of home runs, has a lot of power to off field. You don't want to just go ahead and groove a 92, 93 mile an hour fastball to him, because he can get that foot down and hit something real deep to left center field.
Wallace runs well off the bag at second. Scoreless game, top 4. And late strike called by Campos, 3-1.
And there you go. You see the respect that Carlson will have. Hey, 3-0, I'm not just going to go ahead and give you a lollipop fastball down the middle. I'll throw a slider on the outside corner, see if maybe you're being aggressive on it. Gets the call on that 3-0 to make it 3-1. And you got to think, if he did it 3-0, will he do it again on 3-1?
Does he double up here? Sure does. 3-2.
And guess what? If you do it on 3-0 and you do it on 3-1 as a hitter, you got to think it's going to come again, but you have to respect that fastball at 92. But I'm still thinking you have 3-2, you're going to have runners moving, the play is going to be at first. I would not be surprised at all if it's going to be back-to-back-to-back sliders.
Battles ready for the payoff pitch. Runners on the go. Doesn't matter. Strike 3. Both pitchers working sensationally well with traffic on the diamond.
Oh, and he went with the fastball, not with the slider, and it was 95 miles an hour on the outside corner.
At Carvana.
You've got 3 minutes before the
Welcome back to NCAA Baseball Super Regionals, presented by Capital One. Scoreless game thus far. The Tar Heels, no strangers to Omaha. 11 times they have been over the years. Looking for their first trip under head coach Scott Forbes. You look at the history of this program and the many great coaches they've had, from Coach Roberts to Coach Fox. Scott Forbes trying to follow in those legendary footsteps and keep the train on the tracks. Home half of the fourth will feature Mikey Madej, Tomas Frick, and Hunter Stokely. Connor Nolan has had traffic in every inning, but he's been able to weave in and out of it thus far. Madej comes in on a 14-game hitting streak, 0 for 1 today. Smoked into left field, but playable for Gregory. Again, the winner of this Super Regional will take on the winner of Stanford-UConn. We had 4 of them yesterday. We've got 4 more today. Big brother matchup brewing in Hattiesburg. Southern Miss, Ole Miss. That'll be at 4 o'clock Eastern time. Oregon State and Auburn. The last time Auburn was in a Super was right here in Chapel Hill in 2019, and they snapped a 22-year drought from Omaha. A 1-game 3 against the Tar Heels with a 13-run top of the first. And that has left a bitter taste in North Carolina's mouth. They have not been to a Super since. Hope to get to Omaha this year. Slow roller into the waiting glove of Battles. Easy money to first for out number 2.
And I love what Connor Nolan has done since that first inning. Got himself into trouble, was able to get himself out. And after that, yeah, he's had some traffic on the base, but it really hasn't been much. It's been one guy base hit here and there and been able to strand guys. And I love, too, the way he's attacking this UNC ball club. Pitching backwards at times and then all of a sudden switching in the middle of innings, throwing that fastball. It's how you have to pitch if you want to be successful, not only in college, but as you move forward.
And you would have thought with that rather lengthy first inning that even if he was able to get out of it, his pitch count would be such that this would not be a long outing and be a big day for the Arkansas bullpen. But here he sits now. The pitch count is more than manageable, 48 through 3 2/3. So he's got a chance to still go deep into this ball game.
And that's just credit to him to be able to figure out what I need to do to get these guys out. Let me start pitching backwards. That's working. Let me switch it up again. Oof.
Nasty stuff right there. Has Stokely on his front foot. And there is the first 1-2-3 inning for Connor Nolan. 8 pitches. Retires the side. We'll chat with Scott Forbes when we return. Packed house here at Boshamer Stadium, scoreless game, and happy to be joined by Scott Forbes, the skipper for the Tar Heels. And Coach, you have to be pleased with what you've seen out of Max Carlson thus far. What do you like out of what he's going through on the mound?
Yeah, no doubt. 2 competitors out there. Welcome to a Super Regional. As you know, the tone's always set on the mound, and both these guys they're setting it so far, that's for sure.
So, Coach, during regionals, 14 home runs, you're going up against Connor Nolan. What are you telling the guys at bat and how to go up against him?
You know what? He's got that great breaking ball. You just have to keep battling and try to get a guy on here or there, and then maybe somebody can come through with a big knock. That's the difference maker, as you guys know.
Coach, we appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Scott
Forbes in his second year as the head coach of the Tar Heel program. Two teams that were very offensive in the regionals, but here in the supers, the pitching gets a little bit better. And so far, through 4 innings, no one's been able to scratch a run. Stovall, Gregory, and then Braden Webb do up 8-9-1 for Arkansas. Stovall crushes one deep right center field. Honeycutt backing, it's gone! 400 feet plus for the talented freshman Peyton Stovall.
Oh boy, Stovall, my goodness, gets a fastball up in the zone, and he absolutely crushes it. That backside coming through, front foot getting down, knew it right away as it hits off the top of that mesh fence in right center field.
It's the 5th home run of the season for Stovall. That is by no means indicative of the power that he possesses. Again, he's had some injuries. He's had your typical struggles here and there as a freshman. But there he just unleashed on Max Carlson. That is home run number 99 on the year for the Razorbacks. A 1-0 for the road team. Zach Gregory at the dish. He's got a home run cut, comes up empty.
And you can see how Carlson now is saying, okay, they might be on my fastball. I'm going to start going to my secondary pitch, my good pitch, my changeup. It's a whippy arm action. Looks like it's going to be a fastball, and it just parachutes its way down once it gets to home plate. It's a good pitch. Now all of a sudden, for Arkansas, they're going to have to understand, now I'm going to start getting a little bit more of that because that fastball velocity has been dropping just a little bit since the beginning of the game. He was 95, 96. Now it's about 91, 92.
Each team now with 4 hits. Stovall, the biggest one of the bunch, with a solo blast to right center field. 1-2 to Gregory. Gregory out of Keller, Texas. 2 for 13 in the Stillwater Regional. All of a sudden, a lot of woo pig suey to our right. The Arkansas crowd that made its way a long ways. We are a long way from Fayetteville in northwest Arkansas, but they are making their presence known here at the Bosch. Three and 2, the count on Gregory. Slaps that one foul. Both these teams have talented arms out of the bullpen, and very often these super regionals come down to just that, a battle of the bullpens. You'd have to say Arkansas is a bit deeper than Carolina's, but Carolina certainly feels good about their closer in Davis Palermo. Off the plate, ball 4. Time to check in with studio and our own Jordan Cornett.
Game 2 of the Blacksburg Regional, Hokie Sooners. Second pitch of the game, Nick Bettison wastes no time. A solo homer, and Tech is on the board. Oklahoma leads this series 1-0. Back to you, Mike, Abby.
Jordan, thank you very much. Of course, Virginia Tech having a historic season that, I mean, nobody saw coming. Picked right near the bottom of the ACC. Abby, I know you got a chance to see him firsthand. That is a really talented group over there. That ball is lined in the left field, a base hit, and all of a sudden, Arkansas is on everything. Max Carlson is throwing to the plate.
Well, I'll tell you what, Webb has been on everything since the beginning of this game. Just missed a home run to right field, got another base hit in the 3rd, and here's another one. You know they're going to start sitting on that changeup. He's going to get that pitch. He leaves it up in the zone. Webb makes him pay, drills this line drive into left field. And all of a sudden, Arkansas has things brewing here in the top of the 5th.
Second base knock for Webb. And Here's Rapp heading over to the Tar Heels bullpen. Max Carlson in his 25th career start. He's been a hot pitcher in his last 7 starts. An ERA of just 3. That'll get by Frick. Easy advancement for Gregory and Webb. They're at second and third, nobody out. And now the bullpen is really going to start heating up in a hurry.
Yeah, there's not really much that Frick can do on this one. It's just a ball that hits in the dirt. He tries to get his body in front of it, but it's already past him. Just a little bit pulled right there by Carlson. That's why everybody's coming out just to kind of talk, try to get things going. And boy, this Arkansas crowd is loud.
Bryant Gaines is the pitching coach. He'll try to settle down Max Carlson. This is kind of what I was alluding to as well. You look at what the Tar Heels have done from a starting pitching standpoint, not exactly dominating numbers. But again, if you've got a great bullpen that comes through this time of year, that can overcome a lack of just pure domination from the starting role. Relievers 31-7 this year, and they've worked the bulk load of the innings. So even if Carlson has to take an early exit here, that's something, Gabby, that the Tar Heels are not unaccustomed to. They know how to deal with that kind of adversity.
No, they definitely know how to do that, especially early on in this season where they were used a bunch. Later on, the pitching staff started to come along. That starting pitching staff has been a lot better, but still, they know how to be able to come in and shut games down. Not only that, they know how to hold leads, and they know how to basically keep their team within reach to let the offense come and put some runs on the board.
Slavens uncoils and fouls one back. Brady Slavens went through a terrible slump at the beginning of the year, particularly in conference play. And at one point, Dave Van Horn said, I've never seen one of my guys fighting it mentally as much as Brady Slavens is right now. Had to bench him a few games, let him get his confidence back. It's in there. He's got a ton of pop. Huge RBI guy last year for Arkansas. En route to a #1 ranking and team that won the SEC tournament before losing in Game 3 of a Super Regional at home. If they can get last year's Brady Slavens in this Super Regional, this Arkansas lineup could be scary.
Well, here's the thing, too. If you're Slavens, you know you're going to get pitches to hit right now because you have Caden Wallens hitting behind you, and that's the last thing that if you're UNC you want to do if you're Max Carlson. You do not want to walk a guy to get bases loaded and have Wallace come up in a big spot.
Good take on a pitch off the plate, 2-2. 69 pitches now under the belt of Max Carlson. He was breezing pretty well, and then all of a sudden the home run by Stovall to start the inning, a walk to Gregory, a single by Webb. Former Wichita State shocker, Brady Slavens out of Olith, Kansas. An area in the country that Dave Van Horn is from and has recruited extremely well in his 20 years at Arkansas. 2-2, just got a piece to stay alive.
Oh, that's a good job by Slavens there to be able to just make contact with the changeup right off the tip of the bat, just staying on it, fighting it. You have to respect the fastball. It looks like Carlson got a little bit more giddy up now, 93, 94 with it, understanding the situation of the game. So you have to be able to be on that fastball and still make your adjustments with that changeup.
So he's looking heater here.
You got to look heater because you have to respect it, but you got to get the changeup.
2-2 into center field for a base hit. Gregory scores. Webb will hold up at third, and they'll be at the corners. Again, Honeycutt with an elite arm in center field. Otherwise, they might wave him.
And just a huge hit there by Slavens. He gets the changeup, stays on it, and I love when a guy stays on the changeup, hits it to the big part of the field. Man on second and third does a great job They're going to have to hold. Honeycutt does have a really, really good arm, but now you still have man on the corner, and you have your guy, your part of the lineup coming up in Caden Wallace.
And nobody out. A precarious spot for Carlson and the Tar Heels here in the 5th inning. Already 2 runs in. Wallace led the Razorbacks in the bulk load of offensive categories, 3rd in batting average. Fastball strike. Wallace is 1 for 2 with an infield single. He's hit safely in 14 out of the last 16 games. The sophomore from Greenbrier, Arkansas. He's 21 as a true sophomore, so he is draft eligible. Our own Kylie McDaniel has him late 1st round, or perhaps one of the comp picks between the 1st and 2nd. Breaking ball, top foul.
It's one of those situations, too, if you're a player. What do I do here? If I get picked in that round or in that spot, do I want to come back? I'm 21, but I still have years here to play with this Arkansas team. It's going to be interesting to see what decision he's going to make, and I think it's going to help, too, if they're able to make it to the next round. So Omaha.
Stocks can go up and down this time of year. Scouts everywhere. 1-2 in on the hands, fouled off the body. Yeah, we've seen a number of players move up or down the board based on what they do in super regionals and in Omaha. It's a lot more eyeballs. You're facing certainly more elite pitching. Sometimes guys with gaudy numbers all year long get on this stage and they crumble, quite frankly.
Yep.
Carlson trying to dig deep for a good 1-2 pitch just off the outside corner. Almost a paint job at 93.
Now this is just a heck of a take by Wallace. It's a fastball right on the outside corner. It is just off. But as a hitter, that first thought that you have as it's crossing is, I hope he calls that a ball because I had that off.
7th pitch of the at-bat. Comes back with the fastball. Lined foul.
And after back-to-back fastballs, I'm thinking the pitch that Carlson will throw right here is a changeup. And as a hitter, the way to combat that is you think to drive that fastball to right center field. That way, if he does throw you the changeup, you're still able to stay on it enough. And that's the one that you're hitting to left field, that line drive, even that home run, if he leaves it up enough.
20 pitches this inning, hammered by Wallace right at Madej, tagging up his Webb, and no throw. Arkansas extends the lead 3-0 Razorbacks.
And that's what we were talking about. You think it's going to be a fastball. Look right center. If he throws you the changeup, you can stay on it. And boy, Wallace does. He stays right on it, drives it to left field, gets himself a sac fly.
Carlson will try to minimize the damage here. Would do anything for a ground ball and an inning-ending double play off the bat of Michael Turner, who's 1 for 2. 4 years with the Golden Flashes of Kent State. He has been brilliant in an Arkansas uniform this year. In addition to his work behind the plate, supplied power, 9 home runs, 48 runs batted in, and hitting a cool .311 on the season. If you want to know what college baseball is going to resemble in the near future, take a look at what Arkansas has gotten out of Michael Turner and Chris Lanzilli. 2 transfers that have been mainstays in the starting lineup. Tommy Tanks in the portal at NC State. I mean, it's going on all over the place. What is happening in football and basketball has trickled its way down to the sport of college baseball.
Well, you start talking about those NIL deals and all that stuff and money that could be made by players, and you can't get mad at them if all of a sudden they know I can go somewhere else and I'm going to be making good money. That's money in the bank where I can use, and if I'm good enough to make it to pro ball, well, guess what? You're not making much in the minor leagues. You have sustainability there to be able to at least hold you on until you get maybe to the big leagues or not.
Yeah, we're not talking a couple $100 out of an NIL deal. Some reports out there of six-figure NIL deals. Up the middle, this could be two. Gloved by Soretti, steps on the bag and gets the double play. Slick fielding, Danny Soretti, the shortstop, just what the doctor ordered for Max Carlson. Dave Van Horn coming up. Dave Van Horn joining us now, the head coach of Arkansas, who leads it 3-0. Coach, for a while there, it was tough to get to Max Carlson. Peyton Stovall hits the bomb to get it started. How important is it for you guys to have a healthy Stovall back in the lineup?
It's been big. He was big last week. I think he got 8 hits in the week on the weekend and drove in some big runs for us. Got a bunch of 2-strike hits, 2-out hits, and it's great.
Coach, with Nolan on the mound, started off a little bit rough, was able to get himself out of that first inning, and then he's been cruising. What do you have to say about his performance so far tonight?
Real good. They got off to a good start offensively as well, and he fought through it. He got in the way of a ball that might have been a base hit and knocked it down and threw him out. He had to do that a couple of times last weekend, so proud of him for fighting through it.
Coach, thank you for the time.
Okay, see you guys.
You got it. Dave Van Horn in his 20th campaign with Arkansas, 18 NCAA tournaments in those 20 years. One of those, of course, we didn't have a postseason due to COVID, so only once has he missed the tournament in a full season. He's been a regular in super regionals. In fact, Arkansas is the only team in the country to make it to the last 4 supers. He's been to 6 World Series at Arkansas, 2 more at Nebraska. But back at his alma mater, he made it as a player, and he wants to get back there for a 7th time as the Arkansas head coach. Connor Nolan will try to assist him in that regard. He'll be facing the 9-hole hitter Colby Wilkerson to start things off.
How about staying cool and calm there? There was no energy like coming up. He was staying just relaxed. Your team just scored 3. You're thinking he's going to be up there like excited. And it was just like, no, we're calm down. We know that we're playing against a good ball club here. Let's just keep it going.
That is Dave Van Horn in a nutshell, having covered him for a lengthy amount of time. And look, last year they got absolutely crushed. It was a heartbreaking defeat. It seemed like a team of destiny. And they lose in game 3 of the Super. Wilkerson gives it a ride, but shy of the track. Gregory puts it away for out number 1. I mean, they weren't quite as dominating as Tennessee was this year, but they were as close to an equivalent as we can find. Again, number 1 most of the season. Led the country in home runs. Oh, by the way, they had the Golden Spikes Award winner in Kevin Kopps. It was Kopps who got the surprise start in game 3. Was brilliant before serving up a home run in the top of the 9th, and they lose a 1-run game to NC State. And that's the kind of loss that stings for a long time. They would love nothing more to wipe that memory clean and get back to Omaha this year.
Well, it's that kind of loss where the guys remember. And you come into a season understanding where you were, what happened, the feeling of losing that game, not making it to Omaha. with being that #1 team, knowing that we were there, we should have won.
Zarate, the leadoff man, is 1 for 2. Collected his 100th hit of his career back in the first inning. Can't say enough about the way Connor Nolan has bounced back after a shaky first inning. This ball's got some carry, slicing toward the line and flagged down by Gregory again. 2 up, 2 down for Connor Nolan. Sunday night baseball matchup's a good one. The Mets and the Angels on ESPN. Shohei Ohtani and company. That'll be on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Our coverage beginning at 6 Eastern with baseball tonight. Sunday night countdown. That's off to a terrific start in the NL East. Here's Horvath. Horvath, a ground out and a strikeout in 2 trips to the plate. A 3-0 lead for Arkansas, led by the senior Nolan, the former Razorback quarterback, who eventually focused on just the one sport, and that's baseball. Injured much of last year, was going to be a great opportunity to bounce back this final season. Boy, is he ever. Popped up, foul ground. Stovall calling for it. He will not make the catch. Spills out of the glove.
And these are one of those rare mistakes that you're going to see out of a first baseman. You can't just glide with the ball. You have to get to your spot, be able to turn around. When you glide with it, it's tough skies, they're high skies, but you want to get to a point, get your body in front of it. It was up long enough that you could have gotten around that baseball, making an easier play for yourself.
We'll see if Horvath can take advantage. No, sir. 7 in a row set down by Nolan. He is in a groove, and so too is Arkansas through 5. Now, some of the headlines coming into today. East Carolina, can they finally get over the hump and make it to their first ever trip to Omaha? They're trailing right now 2-0 in game 2. Oklahoma holds on to defeat Virginia Tech 5-4. Notre Dame, that's the score that everybody is talking about. You and I, Gabby, just had the Fighting Irish. Again, they are not the most explosive offense. They're not going to score a ton of runs, but you think about it. We had them 3 games in Statesboro. They had 3 total home runs. They had 4 in the first 4 innings against Tennessee last night.
Oh, well, it's what they're going to need to do if they were going to go up against a Tennessee team with that kind of a potent lineup and pitching staff. You need to score runs. You knew that on the mound they were going to be good. You knew that defensively they weren't going to make any mistakes on the defensive side. But to see them put up 8 runs so quickly against that Tennessee pitching staff was shocking, really.
I think a lot of people were stunned, and it's kind of a double whammy for Tennessee. You've got your pitching coach, he ejected and then gone for the rest of the weekend. Drew Gilbert will not be available. That's your starting center fielder and your cleanup hitter. He's suspended for a game, so they'll be playing shorthanded today in game 2 against the Irish. 1-1 to Lanzilli, who's 0 for 2 today.
Now this is going to be a big inning for Carlson. See if he can bounce back here. Already at that 85 pitch mark. It's going to be interesting to see how long they let him go, and if Coach Forbes looks at it and says, you know what, we're ready to go to the bullpen here. See if he can finish off this 6.
.50 career home runs for Lanzilli, the former Demon Deacon. Carlson induces the ground ball. Wilkerson waits and fires and gets the zan for out number 1. For around-the-clock multi-game coverage, scores, and highlights, check out Squeeze Play, available on ESPN Plus throughout the college baseball super regionals.
And if you're sitting on a couch right now, it's okay to get up for a second. Go ahead, get the phone out, take that picture, and then go check out what's going on in Squeeze Play.
Thousands upon thousands of scans last week.
Leave it up just in case. Sometimes it's hard to get off that comfy couch.
And we're on the 3 box right now, I'm told. So right now, Rooney he's working the
Rooney's
3
talking.
box.
It's just a triple box.
Yeah, that's like, you know, that's routine. That's a routine ground
easy.
ball for him.
That's
Quad
easy.
box is where he really flexes his muscle. And I'm sure they'll get a few quad boxes in today. Robert Moore flied out to center and then wore one his last time up. A fastball right in the small of the back. And ahead of the count, 3 balls and no strikes. Father Dayton is currently the president of baseball operations for the Kansas City Royals. Was exposed to a lot growing up. Favorite player, one Chipper Jones. Not a bad guy to model your game after. Moore also a switch hitter like the Hall of Famer and former Atlanta Brave. Ball 4. A 1-out walk to Moore. Jalen Battles will come to the dish. And we'll see if Carlson can wiggle out of a jam here in the 6th and try to stay on for at least another couple of outs. You have to believe that this would likely be his final inning before they turn it over to the bullpen in the 7th. Pry has been loosening up for the Tar Heels for a while, and maybe we see Pry now. We will. So Carlson's day will be done. 91 pitches for the sophomore. He leaves with Arkansas leading it 3-0. With Arkansas cracking open a 3-0 lead here in the 6th, Max Carlson will give way to the bullpen. And the 6'1" sophomore out of Pinehurst, North Carolina, Nick Pry.
Yeah, and for Nick Pry, he's got a fastball slider. Max Carlson, you see what he did there. 5 1/3 innings pitch. Now Nick Pry, the 6'1", 210-pounder out of Pinehurst, North Carolina. He's going to feature a fastball slider, a 4.38 ERA, 43 strikeouts with 16 walks. A lot of those strikeouts are going to come off that slider. He likes to throw it. He's going to need to have it today because this Arkansas lineup can do a really good job hitting that fastball, as they've already shown.
It's not a number we ordinarily search for right away on the stat sheet when a reliever comes in, but it's hard not to see 16 wild pitches for Nick Pry in 37 innings. So that is a rather gaudy number in the wrong direction, in a spot where you do have a runner at first in the form of Robert Moore, with the dangerous Jalen Battles coming to the plate 0 for 2. And a home run cut by Battles.
Yeah, and that's what Pry is going to do. It's going to be a lot of slider, and that's where those wild pitches come to play. A lot of those sliders, especially with 2 strikes, down onto the ground. It's going to be really important for Frick to be able to get his body in front and keep that ball in front of him to keep the runners from advancing.
Check swing, bouncer to the right side. Pry racing to the bag at first to cover. A nice job by the pitcher just in the game. Good PFP to get the out. The 2nd of the inning, Moore to 2nd.
And Battles gets up there. It's a check swing, but I love the way that Pry jumps off. He sees that Stokely's going to go ahead and get it, tries to get to first. That's not an easy play for a pitcher because first base is going to be behind him. He has to turn to catch that ball, but he knows where he's at on the field, and he's able to make that play and touch the base with his feet.
And here's the guy with the biggest hit of the game, Peyton Stovall. Started the 5th inning with a home run to right center field. First run of the game. Arkansas would later tack on 2 more to make it a 3-0 lead.
Frick does a heck of a job there keeping that slider in front of him. It's what he needs to do. You know that you're going to get a bunch of sliders from Pry. You know you need to be able to stay on your toes and be aggressive. Sometimes you start to latch, you get on your heels, you're not able to get over far enough. This is not that situation. Be on your toes, ready for any ball in the dirt.
Check in the 1-0, driven to center field. Honeycutt has it measured, and Pry will get the job done. No damage done. Still a 3-0 ball game at the Bosch.
For less.
Welcome back to NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. We welcome you back inside Boshemer Stadium. Mike Morgan, Gabby Sanchez, great to be with you. The early bird special here on a busy day of Super Regional action. Connor Nolan has been fantastic. He had a bumpy first inning, got out of it unscathed, and has been dominating ever since. And then Arkansas with 3 runs in the 5th. It all got jump-started by a solo blast off the bat of Peyton Stovall, the talented freshman. Meaty part of the order up for Carolina. 3, 4, 5. Soretti, Honeycutt, and Osuna as the crowd here at the Bosch trying to inspire this team, and that'll help. Soretti with a leadoff single.
And Soretti understands how big this inning needs to be. They need to put some runs on the board, and starts off when the infield single gets a pitch that he's able to hit into that 4-hole, getting things going with Vance Honeycutt coming up to bat.
Honeycutt to the plate. He's reached both times, a walk and a single. His father, Bob Honeycutt, played on the 1989 World Series team. Nolan has been in control for most of the afternoon. After that first inning, wiggled out of a major jam with the bases loaded. Before that single by Soretti, he had retired 7 in a row. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
And Honeycutt was thinking, you know what, I might be able to get us at least within 1 with that swing. Gets the slider outside corner. Beautifully thrown pitch by Nolan, though, with an aggressive Honeycutt swing.
In addition to a great regional in which he bombed 3 home runs, he was also the MVP of the ACC tournament. Not your typical freshman. He has started every game, and very often he has led his team in his freshman season. Going back to that pitch, and it's been working for him like a gem.
Well, why wouldn't you? If you're not going to make the adjustment at the plate and let that ball travel, you have the whole entire infield playing basically on the left-hand side, all pull side. You have holding on a runner at first base. You have basically 120 feet worth of real estate on the right-hand side, and if you want to go with it, then fine. We're going to just keep on throwing that slider away.
Job as that one sizzles on the outside corner. Came back with a fastball. Honeycutt obviously looking for something else.
Yeah, well, I think Honeycutt, what he's looking for is probably something in, knowing that that defense is out there, but it's that 2-seamer, that backdoor 2-seamer. I call it the cheap pitch because it looks like it's going to go around home plate, perfectly thrown strike on the outside corner, and you're just frozen as you look at it go by.
5 strikeouts for Connor Nolan, who has been brilliant so far in this game. The senior given everything that Arkansas could ask for in game 1 of a super regional. Again, this is a Tar Heel lineup in the regional round that was putting together incredible numbers. They averaged 10 runs a game. They hit 14 home runs. Lofted to right. Manzilli backing, and now has it measured shy of the track. A couple have been given a ride, but nothing that would be too scary for Connor Nolan as he continues to keep it in the yard.
Yeah, that ball just missed by Ozuna. You can tell he finally said, I'm going to try to stay on this slider on the outside corner, see if I can do something with it just a little bit underneath. But boy, Connor Nolan has just been rolling. After that first inning, 15 pitches, and after that 8 in the third, he did throw 18. But he has just been outstanding with the way that he's been changing up his sequencing. He's been going off speed first, pitching backwards, and all of a sudden he'll change it up, throwing fastballs and keeping this UNC hitters off balance.
Leday tied up in knots on that swing. Mikey Madej came in riding a 14-game hitting streak. Mentioned the bullpens for both these teams. And again, North Carolina's has been good. But Arkansas, for years now, they have been able to stack elite arms in a deep bullpen, and this year is no exception. But it might not be a big factor for a while. That's only 73 pitches. So on top of the dominance by Nolan, he's been incredibly efficient. And doesn't seem to be tiring or fatiguing here at all. Two and two. Arkansas has a closer, a freshman that we'll eventually see by the name of Brady Tigert, that has a curveball that is alien-like, a spin rate of over 3,100 that so many opposing hitters have had just any type of trouble seeing or driving. He's only given up 2 home runs all year. Madej waiting on a 2-2 pitch. Fights it off, foul again. You've got Tigert if you're Arkansas, Evan Taylor, Vermillion. And they got 3 or 4 guys they feel really confident throwing in a spot later on in this game with a 3-0 lead. Tar Heels would love to scratch a run here, get something going, get a little bit of momentum and give this crowd something to cheer about. And spiked in the dirt, skips over home plate to turn it.
If you're Arkansas, though, you want Nolan to go as far as he can possibly take this game. If he can go into the 7th, maybe even into the 8th inning, and now you don't really have to use that bullpen, then you're fresh for the next game. And if for some instance you win this game, you lose the next one, you still have a pretty good bullpen that's ready to go and fresh.
Nolan ready to throw Madej, the 8th pitch of this at bat. Runner on the go, 3-2 is slammed foul.
Stay on that slider, Mikey. Look at your gap, Mikey. Look at your gap.
The battle continues. Right on left, Nolan versus Madej. Soretti, good wheels over at first. He's on the go again. Hit to the right side, into the shift. Moore will throw to the covering pitcher, Nolan. Connor Nolan has it all working for him so far today.
Yes, he does. Great job by Nolan, understanding the situation, playing the shift. Stovall goes out to make the play, knows he can't get back, but there's Nolan to save it.
Jordan Cornette here with your update. Game 2, Blacksburg Regional. Hokie Sooners, big third inning for Virginia Tech. Gavin Cross, 2-run homer to right, making it 3-0 Hokies at that point. But the explosion with the bats would continue on. Cade Hunter, 2-run bomb of his own. Hokies lead 5-0 at this point in the bottom of the third. Mike, Gabby.
Jordan, thank you. Speaking of first rounders, that's what Gavin Cross is expected to be. Virginia Tech in search of its first ever trip to Omaha. We've got a few programs that are trying to get over that illustrious hump, including ECU. East Carolina, the Pirates, always a bridesmaid, never a bride in Omaha, but they've got a 1-0 lead. A lot of very interesting storylines throughout the country in these super regionals. Zach Gregory, the 9-hole hitter, will start things off here in the top of the 7th. Nick Pry, who came into the game in the 6th inning, in relief of Max Carlson. Carlson really had just one bad inning, but it's the difference in this game. A 3 spot in the top of the 5th for the Razorbacks. To Zach Gregory, the left fielder. Again, 9 of the 16 teams in these supers are represented by these two conferences, the SEC and the ACC. We have 3 such matchups in the supers, including Tennessee, Notre Dame, but Notre Dame pulling off a stunning upset last night. Gregory walked for the 33rd time in his last at bat. Mr. On-base percentage trying to get aboard again, and he works another count full.
God, Gregory is so impressive. I mean, you don't see him really swinging out of the zone. He shrinks that strike zone. Even with 2 strikes, he knows what he needs to do to just either foul the ball off, get another pitch. And that's why you see the average, it's not great, but the on-base percentage is, because there's a lot of time, 3-1, where he might take a pitch rather than going ahead, getting that foot down and swing it.
And he'll be aboard again. Somebody send Billy Bean an autographed Zach Gregory jersey. This is his kind of guy. Another walk, and another time getting on base without the benefit of a base hit. Mentioned Tennessee, Notre Dame. The other SEC ACC matchup is a good one. Texas A&M and Louisville. Texas leading East Carolina 2-0. That game's in the bottom of the 3rd. ECU winning yesterday by a score of 13-7. Oklahoma with a 1-0 lead on the Hokies, who are trying to force a game 3. I think it's the perfect blend. You know, Gabby, having done a number of these supers over the years, you want the blue bloods, and we've got 2 of them here.
Yep.
You want the premier conferences, and we've got them. SEC, ACC, Big 12 is represented. But you also want a couple of Cinderellas that have a chance to make history. And we've got that as well. Haven't even mentioned UConn, who always seems to be a consistent player in the postseason, trying to get over the hump. ECU we talked about. And then, of course, Southern Miss. They have been to Omaha under Coach Berry, but you play Big Brother and Ole Miss at home. I can only imagine how rowdy that crowd is going to be. So I think we've got just a terrific blend. These 8 super regionals give you everything you want as not only a baseball fan, but just a fan of athletics in general.
And not only that, you have 2 teams that are still playing that can make it to Omaha for the first time. With ECU and with Virginia Tech, and as a fan, you kind of want to see that. You want to see new teams in Omaha playing some baseball.
Infield just swung around to the left side right before that last pitch, so now Braden Webb is looking at a shift. And now they start peeling back. That was interesting.
Very interesting.
It's almost like a wide receiver in motion. The infield just swung around to the left right before that pitch. Now they go back to playing straight up. 3 3-1 now to Braden Webb, who's 2 for 3.
You kind of think it's maybe that deception. Let's move people, hitters up there like, wait, what is going on here?
I was going to ask
I'm going to swing through this pitch. And it was a slider, and it's actually a good slider that if you would just stay back on it and being Webb, you could just easily hit a ground ball to second base, and you got runners on first and third real quick.
Would that distract you as a hitter?
Oh, absolutely. As that ball gets away from Stokely, he's able to go jump on it. But yeah, it absolutely would mess me up as a hitter. And you can see this ball just into the ground. Stokely does a good job of just, I know I need to knock it down. Let's not try to just throw my glove at it. That ball gets by, and all of a sudden you have Gregory running all the way to third. Just knock it down, keep it somewhat near you to keep the runner at first.
Good bounce back pitch to fill the count up at 3-2.
Now it's going to be interesting to see if you go ahead and send Gregory. He is 5-5 for stolen bases. You have a hitter in Webb that can make adjustments. He can hit the ball on the ground. Do you want to go ahead, send the runner, get guys out of position to try to cover second base?
There he goes. 3-2 pitches high. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks to start things off in the top of the 7th inning. O'Brien now loosening up in the Tar Heel bullpen. Caden O'Brien. And the way Nolan has pitched and the strength of that Arkansas bullpen, your margin of error right now for this Carolina staff is slim. 3-0 our score. Another pitching change for the Tar Heels when we come back. You see the score and you see that number at the bottom of the screen. Arkansas 33-1 when staked to a 3-run lead or more. The only loss coming on May the 20th to the hands of the Alabama Crimson Tide. So imperative that Caden O'Brien tries to keep this game in reach for a Tar Heel lineup that's been silenced so far today by Connor Nolan. Caden O'Brien, the southpaw. What are we looking at here, Gabby?
Well, it's going to be a fastball, changeup, curveball mix. 32 strikeouts in 25 innings. He will get some swings and misses. The big thing for me, whether or not he's able to spot that changeup, the fastball, he can move in and out. He will throw fastballs into righties to try to get them to speed up. And if he's able to do that, that's where that changeup and curveball will come into play away.
He's got 2 lefties that he'll likely face in this spot. Slavin's here. And then 2 spots down the order, Michael Turner will swing from the left side. Slavin's an RBI single his last time up. He's driven in one of the 3 runs for Arkansas today. 2 on and nobody out.
There it is.
Hit up the middle, base hit. Gregory flying around third, he'll score. Webb sliding to third, out of there. So they get the out on the bases, but Arkansas gets an important insurance run. It's 4-0.
Oh, boy, for Slavens, this ball just hit perfectly right back up the box, out of the reach of Soretti. You are going to get the RBI, but how about Honeycutt? Eyes on a swivel, sees that he's going to have no play at home, goes and fires to third base to get Braden Webb.
Yeah, that is a veteran move by a freshman. We've already told you about how powerful the arm is. But he makes the right call there. For Arkansas, you make the first out at third. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them. Not the only thing Arkansas has done wrong here for a while. Now staked to a 4-0 lead. And their best overall player at the plate, and Caden Wallace.
Yeah, it's one of those situations, though, where for Braden Webb, you know that he's turning, you know that he's running. It's a ground ball. It wasn't a hard hit ground ball. The mindset is, I'm going to be able to make it. The only thing is that Honeycutt threw an absolute laser beam to third base, and it was a perfect throw with a bang-bang play. So sometimes as a coach, you kind of take that one. You want that aggressiveness on the bases. I get it. You don't want to make the first out at third. But in games and situations like this, if you're able to get the third with man on first and third, and you have Caden Wallace coming up, you like your chances for another run.
Wallace waits on a 1-2 and fouls it back our way. Just about everybody in the country wanted the services of Caden Wallace, but in the end, he decided to go to Fayetteville. Grew up in Greenbrier, Arkansas. All SEC team as a freshman. You hear so much about the sophomore slump, draft year, draftitis, all the things that can work against you. Hasn't really been a major factor for this young man. He made the transition to his true position of third. He played right field last year. Pops this one up near first. Stokely angling back and makes the grab in foul territory. Big second out. And now another lefty in Turner. Turner had big shoes to fill. Casey Opitz was one of the mainstays for Arkansas and all those postseason runs that they've had in recent years. Almost unreplaceable with his value, but Michael Turner has filled in quite nicely. A .310 hitter, good behind the plate. They've gotten all they could ask for out of the transfer from Kent State. Bouncer to the third baseman, Horvath. Double pumps and rifles across in time. So O'Brien gets the job done. Arkansas does get an RBI single by Slavens. 4-0 as we stand up and stretch.
can do.
Mike Morgan, Gabby Sanchez here in Chapel Hill. It's been a beautiful day. Sun is shining brightly, and it's been shining brightly on Connor Noland, the opposing pitcher on the road. First pitcher with 6 scoreless innings all year long against a rather lethal Tar Heel lineup. We'll see if he can keep it going in the 7th. You get the feeling, Gabby, Tar Heels have to get something here to have a chance of really coming back, because if you don't score here, you've got 6 outs as Wallace fields the grounder against not only Nolan, but against an elite bullpen showcased by Arkansas. The NCAA Super Regionals coverage for all 8 sites continuing tomorrow on the ESPN family of networks. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships.
Well, Mike, you're right. When you start to look at the way that this game is going, UNC, you're running out of outs right here. You need to be able to do something to get on the board. And that's tough when you're facing a guy like Nolan right now, whose confidence level, ever since that first inning, has been sky high. First inning, you had your chances to basically break the game open. It was a line drive off of Nolan, him making the play to get the 3rd out to keep no runs from scoring. And ever since then, I mean, he's just been rolling.
One of his best outings of the year, his longest start of the year, came in late April against Ole Miss. He went 8 innings. So being fouled ground, and the catch is made by Gregory. Like everything else today for Arkansas, things are going right.
And you start to look at the pitch count at this point. You've gone 6 2/3 innings of your Nolan, 82 pitches. So here's a situation where if you're able to finish this 7th inning, you could come back in the 8th, because you have been a guy that can throw into those 90s and into the 100.
I mentioned this at the top, and I can't stress it enough for Connor Nolan. Again, he was injured much of last year. But as a true freshman in 2019, he pitched in 3 NCAA tournament games. He started all 3 en route to a College World Series that year. That experience has been on full display today. And you go back to that first inning, a bases loaded situation. Carolina seemed to be on everything he threw. And you're thinking this could be a really short outing for Connor Nolan. And here he is in the 7th.
One of the biggest things that you can see, especially out of the veteran, the slow heartbeat. Not letting the situation and pressure get to him. Even in that first inning, he was still confident on the mound. He was able to get some good outs and then takes a ball off of him, and there was no panic like other pitchers might have in that same situation of getting it and going. Nice and easy, made the play, got the out, and then showed emotion after it. But then ever since then, he has just been mowing down these UNC hitters, and it's not easy to do that because no one has been able to do that, especially here as of late.
It's the 7th inning. He's still painting corners. 2-2 to Wilkerson. Defensive swing to spoil it. Evan Taylor loosening up in the Arkansas bullpen, part of that 3-headed monster they have. He comes from the left side. The other 2, Vermillion and Tigert, come from the right side. Two-two, line just foul. Now the right field line. And he's doing this on the road, sellout crowd. This Tar Heel faithful, they've been ready to explode at any moment, but they haven't had a whole lot of reason to do so. It is a sea of Tar Heel blue at the Bosch. But for most of the 7 innings of work, they haven't had a reason to leave their seat or stand. 2-2 pitch. That will get up the box and into center field. Wilkerson grinding out a base hit. He's 2 for 3. Tar Heels lit it up in the regional. 10 runs per game, 14 home runs. Today, just 6 hits, no runs, Couple of balls came close to the warning track, but really nobody has threatened with a long ball so far.
Well, when you start to look at the day as well, for UNC, they have gotten guys on base, but the problem is that they get guys on base with 2 outs. That's the 3rd inning this game where they've gotten on base with 2 outs.
And now it's the Arkansas fans that will rise to their feet and give Connor Nolan a much-deserved ovation as he will exit stage right. Arkansas will turn it over to the bullpen, leading it 4-0. Let's take a look at our Capital One rewarding performance, shall we? This was a very easy call, Gabby. Connor Nolan.
Oh, shocking that it's Connor Nolan, right? Oh my God, he's been outstanding. He's been able to keep this UNC offense off balance the whole entire game, using the fastball in and out. And of course, you have to give him a standing ovation for the work that he has put in. 6 2/3 inning of outstanding pitching.
It all started with the first inning where he looked like he just didn't have it. Tar Heels had a single by Zarate, a double by Soretti, a walk to Honeycutt, bases loaded with 1 out. That's the only time Arkansas has had a runner pass first base. They were 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position that inning. They're 1 for 9 with runners on base. They haven't had a runner pass first base since the first inning, and Evan Taylor, the senior lefty, will try to keep that in play.
This is going to be tough now, especially if you are a lefty, because Evan Taylor, it's funky. It's a low arm slot. He has a really good sinker, 90 to 94 from down there. That's not easy. And then he features a really good slider that he's able to bring across the whole entire plate. He does have a changeup, but I'm going to see a lot of fastball and sliders to a lefty.
Zarate jumps on the first one, routine grounder to Moore, and Evan Taylor gets the job done. We are through 7. It's Arkansas 4, Carolina nothing. The Eastern Conference Finals head back to Tampa for Game 6 later on tonight. Our coverage beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time right here on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Playoff hockey, just a different level of excitement. You could say the same thing about playoff baseball, particularly when a trip to Omaha is on the line. Game 1 of this best 2 out of 3 Super Regional here at the Bosch in Chapel Hill. Mike Morgan, Gabby Sanchez, appreciate you stopping by this Saturday. Arkansas picking up where it's left off the last few innings. Another base runner, the leadoff man aboard in Lanzilli.
And if you're Arkansas, that's exactly what you want to do. You want to keep things going. You want runs to continue to pile up. The last thing that you want to do is have UNC think that they're able to come back late. If you're able to put up those insurance runs, it just helps you out. And not only that, then you can start looking at the bullpen of guys who you want to bring in certain situations.
One of my favorite numbers this time of year, how many times do you get the leadoff man aboard? How about 5 out of the 8 innings today for Arkansas? They've kept the heat on, whether it was Carlson, Pry, or now O'Brien.
Now on the flip side, if you're UNC, this is a big inning. You cannot allow another Arkansas run, and they're going to be playing small ball, trying to move guys over, get guys into scoring position. That bottom of the lineup has done a good job of either getting on base. Stova had the big home run to start that 5th inning and get things rolling. It's going to be tough because now you're down to 6 outs if you're UNC, and the last thing that you want is for another run and another situation where now instead of 4 runs to try to tie it, where a grand slam could do that, now you need a grand slam plus some.
Moore squaring again, perfect bunt this time. Going to be a tough play at first. The shovel, and the play is made by O'Brien to Stokely with not a second to spare.
Oh, just a gorgeous bunt by Moore. He shows how good he can handle the bunt, the bat, and he bunts it perfectly right where you want to do it with man on first. You want that first baseman to come in to get it, or you want to just put it right into that no man's land area. Great job there by O'Brien to be able to get it and flip it over, because Moore was hustling down that first base line.
What's the conversation like here?
Well, these are one of those conversations where maybe you're giving your bullpen a little bit of time to get ready and prepared to come into this ball game being that lefty-righty matchup. But other than that, you might be looking at, hey, what signs are we doing with men on second base? Maybe we didn't go through that real quick. But it's going to be big now to see how they're able to bounce back here with the guy in scoring position.
Every insurance run or potential insurance run so valuable. Battles, who's had a few of these type of battles in his career as a Razorback in the postseason. Former SEC tournament MVP a year ago. Hitless in 3 trips to the plate today. Battles coming back for his senior year to the surprise of many. No doubt he's a guy who's thinking about last year, the heartbreak of falling 1 game short, 1 run short in Game 3 of a Super Regional.
Come on, Cade, let's go.
Lanzilli with average speed off the bag at second. Swing and a miss. Extra giddy up there from O'Brien. Virginia Tech now leading Oklahoma 5-3. That game is in the 4th inning, trying to force a Game 3. Don't forget Tennessee and Notre Dame later tonight. An elimination game for the #1 team, the Volunteers. 2-2 pitch, strike 3. Paints the inside corner, Battles is frozen for the 2nd out of the inning.
What a big pitch, and not only that, You could see Frick here after he gets that fastball in, pumping that arm because he knows how big this inning is. He knows how big that situation is on not letting another run come in. It's that emotion and the smartness of all these players that understand, hey, we don't have too many outs to go with. We can't allow another run here.
Well, we saw the man who they call Big Hit Bob with the sacrifice earlier. This guy's had the biggest hit of the game. Peyton Stovall unable to cash in here. Arkansas leaves him stranded. Still a 4-0 game as we head to the home half of the 8th.
Today.
We're all set to go here, the squeeze play. Here we go, Oppo Taco! 3-run Johnson. Oh, goodness gracious.
Pardon us while we pull up our jaws from the desk.
Look at this. That's insane. Look at the sprint.
Throw your mustache at him.
Squeeze. Whoa, what a hexa-box.
How could you not love squeeze play? I mean, that's Americana right there. So too is fun of the ballpark. It's been a lot of fun for the Razorback fans in attendance. They gobbled up all 600 allotted tickets and probably some extras on the secondary market. They've had the reason to cheer. Tar Heel fans are waiting for something, anything. They haven't had a runner past first base since the first inning. Connor Noland was outstanding. They turned it over to a bullpen which has been able to soak up innings late in games and choke its opponents, not surrendering many runs, whether it's Taylor, Vermillion, or the closer, Tigert, who we may or may not see. If you can keep a comfortable cushion and Taylor looks good, you could save him, keep him fresh for the rest of the way. It's Horvath, Soretti, and Honeycutt, 2, 3, 4 up for Carolina. Dangerous part of the order going up against the southpaw Evan Taylor. Outside corner for a strike.
That's the thing with Taylor. He's not your typical lefty. It's coming from a down slot angle. It's got some good kitty up, 90 to 94. He can then throw that slider back foot to righties.
And makes quick work of Mac Horvath, who's 0 for 4.
And I just finished talking. He could throw that back foot slider to a righty, and here it is, the action on this pitch. My goodness, Mac Horvath understands I got to try to cheat to even get to this pitch. It swings right over the top. And boy, Taylor is not a fun AB to go up against.
No, and that pitch is sweeping.
Oh.
And it's been tough all year. He really struggled before this season against righties, but this year he's put it all together. He's not just a situational guy. He can get you out from either side. 7 strikeouts for Arkansas pitching so far today as Soretti digs in, 2 for 3. If you're thinking about the Tar Heels, had they been shut out all year long, well, you got to go back to March the 8th. That was at Liberty. in a 1-0 game when Liberty was ranked 14th in the country. That's over 3 months ago. This is not a Tar Heel lineup that has struggled to score runs. Certainly not lately.
No, certainly not lately. They've been on a nice run. They've been hitting the ball all over the place. A lot of home runs going to regionals, 14 home runs there.
Line shot, right field. Lanzilli makes the grab. Even when the Tar Heels have hit it hard, it's seemingly right at somebody in an Arkansas uniform.
Yeah, you go back to Mikey Madey in that first inning, a line drive right off of Nolan. You think that ball gets through all the things change. But it goes right off of Nolan. He's able to stay, calm, cool, collected, pick it up, get the out. And from then on, I mean, this pitching staff for Arkansas has just been really, really good.
Here's Vance Honeycutt. Honeycutt smokes one deep left center field. Long run for Webb. Track wall leaps and it's gone. Honeycutt continues his torrid pace at the plate and hits a bomb for the Heels.
And when you need the big hit, this man has come through time and time again. Vance Honeycutt gets a pitch that gets left over the middle of the plate, does a good job of driving that backside through the baseball and hits it out, and he has been doing it all year. The kid is incredible.
And now he stands alone all time for home runs by a Tar Heel freshman with 25. 25 home runs, 29 steals for Vance Honeycutt. He has by far been the star today for the Tar Heels. He's reached 3 times in 4 trips to the plate. Can somebody follow suit?
Well, we got to go back to that first inning. Remember, he was up with man on second and third. And what did they do? They said, no, thank you. I'm going to put you on first because of that, of what he can do with his bat, how fast his bat speed is.
A wise decision indeed. Osuna's 0 for 3. 25 home runs, a new program record for the Tar Heels. Honeycutt continues to impress. It's only the 7th hit of the game for Carolina. And finally on the board. 3-1 pitch, hit right at the center fielder Webb. So the side is retired, a little bit of damage, but not a whole lot done. Tar Heels make it a 3-run game as we head to inning number 9.
There's an
The NCAA Baseball Super Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Beautiful Chapel Hill, North Carolina on a fantastic day. The weather has cooperated. It's been cloudy, but no rain. Temperatures mid-80s, not as humid as it would normally be this time of year in the state of North Carolina. The crowd has been waiting to explode. They haven't had a whole lot other than the Vance Honeycutt home run. It's been all Arkansas. 4-1. Two Blue Bloods meeting for the first time on the diamond in 33 years. You have to go back to the 1989 College World Series. Gregory, Webb, Slavens, 9-1-2 due up against Caden O'Brien here in the 9th. Gregory doing Zach Gregory things. Getting on base twice without a hit today. He has walked his last 2 at-bats. 34 walks in total now on the year. Hit by a pitch 16 times. So despite the .230 batting average, still leading this team in getting on base. And we'll take a rare backward K here. Beautiful pitch by O'Brien.
And I mean, for Gregory here, this is a pitcher's pitch that he's going to watch go by right on the outside corner, maybe a little bit down, but that is a very, very good pitcher's pitch, especially with 2 strikes. It's one of those where you could just try to foul it off because that's basically all you're going to be able to do with that pitch.
In case anybody needed a reminder after last night's game in Knoxville, as the bunt is dropped down, and a beauty by Webb. No chance. Put it in your back pocket, Frick. Bunt single for Braden Webb. He is aboard for the 4th time today.
Oh, what a beautiful bunt. Seeing that third base is playing a little bit too far back, but it doesn't matter. He could have been playing in on this one. That is a perfectly placed ball. I don't think you could have rolled it any better as a coach doing, practice bunts.
Arkansas, they're not huge on small ball, but they're very efficient. They don't run a whole lot, but when they do, they're doing so at an 80% clip. This one is crushed high and deep to right. If it's fair, it's gone, and it is a foul ball. It's 340 in the corner, and that ball cleared the pole down the right field line.
It definitely had the distance, and it looked like it was fair for a while, and just at the end gets pulled foul as that ball disappears. I mean, they got to run a far way to go get that one.
Might have to install a higher pole. 0-1 pitch. Slicer off the bat of Slavens. Long run and just falling short of it is Madej. Slavens has had a good day at the office. A pair of RBI singles. Really, Arkansas has gotten contributions up and down the lineup. The only player in the starting 9 who has not reached is Jalen Battles 0 for 4. Everybody else has gotten on either by hit or by a walk. I was going to say before the bunt single by Webb, if we didn't learn anything about the umpires and the NCAA's tolerance for arguing balls and strikes, it's almost zero tolerance. And especially if you start dropping some magical words, you're going to get ejected, you're going to get suspended, so you got to be really careful. Runner on the move, fisted foul by Slavens.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you can argue balls and strikes. You can, kind of do it respectfully. But as soon as you use those choice words, those, what did you say again? Yeah, you're going to be thrown out because the tolerance right now is, hey, we don't need any of that in college baseball.
Talking to a veteran umpire 2 days ago, he said that comes down from the NCAA. They are not going to tolerate it in this postseason. If you're an umpire and you want those premier assignments, you want to work Omaha, you don't do and call things the way you see fit. You get a point of reference and a point of emphasis, then you enforce it if you want to have the ability to work the top assignments out there, whether it's a conference tournament or the College World Series. And we've got a great crew here, a veteran crew here in Chapel Hill this weekend. 0-2 the count on Slavens. I know you never used such salty language back in the day, Gabby. You're just an ideal model, role model and citizen.
Absolutely. That's what we tell the kids. I've been known to lose my cool every once in a while.
0-2 pitch upstairs.
But you know what? I always did it respectfully. I never did it out of malice. It was more of just letting you know what I was thinking at that moment in time.
Sure. Eighth pitch of the at-bat to Slavens. Runner on the go, swing and a miss, strike 3, throw down, not in time. Good jump by Webb. Nothing wrong with the throw by Frick. That one really stolen on the pitcher.
That was stolen by the pitcher, and to tell you what, I didn't even know why Frick was throwing it because Webb was off and running before O'Brien was even lifting his foot off. So that was one of those that we're just going to see. And of course, with Wallace coming up in that stolen base scenario, you're not going to let him hit with runners in scoring position. It's going to be an intentional base on ball. Just go ahead, go to first. You're not going to be the one that scores this run.
Mad respect for the future first rounder Caden Wallace on the intentional pass. 2 on, 2 outs. And Michael Turner to the dish. Arkansas fans having some fun right now. Woo Pig Sooie chants in full effect on the first base side. I get the feeling, just a hunch, they were able to accumulate more than the 600 tickets allotted. First pitch to Turner, roped foul into the screen.
Yeah, starting to look around, you can see some sprinkling of red shirts throughout this whole entire stadium. So I think you are correct. On the secondary market, they were able to at least get some more tickets.
Left on left, O'Brien to Turner. And O'Brien is 1 strike away from slamming the door on Arkansas here in the top of the 9th. Madej, Frick, and Stokely, 6, 7, 8 would be due up in the home half. Another slicer. Long run for the shortstops already, no chance. One hit in no man's land, so another 0-2 pitch due to the Arkansas catcher Michael Turner. Been a really well-played game, errorless game. We've seen some terrific defense on both sides. Pitching has been outstanding. Again, it always goes up a couple of notches when you go from regional play to super regionals. You can't feast on a 3 or 4 seed that doesn't have a lot of pitching. You typically don't run out of pitching because you're not playing 6, 7 games in a weekend. It's a typical best 2 out of 3 series. The runs are a little bit harder to come by usually in a super. Another 0-2 to Turner. Ground ball up the middle. Wilkerson, beautiful play. He got him. Oh, that saved the Tar Heels from allowing another run. It'll keep it a 3-run game.
Oh boy, with Wilkerson, this is why he's here, to make plays like this. He's out in the outfield. He has to come through and make a spectacular play over to first.
What are you in for?
Cholesterol check. Sooners trailing by 2 runs until Brett Squires to right center, the solo shot in the bottom of 4th. They still trail the Hokies 5-4 at this point. A reminder, following the conclusion of the one you're watching now on ESPN, Super Saturday rolls on. Jack Brennigan and the Irish looking to continue to stun the Volunteers there in Knoxville as Game 2 picks up on the other side. Mike and Gabby, back to you.
Jordan, we look forward to that. We look forward to the bottom of the 9th here. Mike Morgan, Gabby Sanchez. The Tar Heels have been kept in check for the better part of 8 innings. Just 1 run, a solo blast by Honeycutt. And the new pitcher for Arkansas, one of the heroes on the mound in the clutch to wrap things up against Oklahoma State. Hagen Smith was phenomenal, and ordinarily a starter. They're not taking any chances here.
No, they're not taking any chances with Hagen Smith. A fastball, changeup, slider. He also has more of a slurs in between a curveball and a slider. And he's an tempo. Again, it's a lower slot arm angle that's coming after you. It's good deception. And he's aggressive. He is going to come right after these hitters. The last thing that you want to do is walk these UNC hitters and get guys on base. This is going to be tough for UNC right here.
Again, Madej, Frick, and Stokely. 6, 7, 8 due up. 0-2 pitch close. Hagen Smith, a freshman out of Bullard, Texas. I mentioned the outing against Oklahoma State. That was his first career save, and what a way to get it. 3 out of his last 4 appearances have been out of the bullpen. One-two, foul back. So we know Jackson Wiggins will be the starter tomorrow for Arkansas. And if we had a Game 3, well, then that's the perennial TBA for Dave Van Horn to decide who would be the guy. Madej 0 for 3 today. A 1-2 count against the freshman lefty, Hagen Smith. Ground ball right side, and that's going to be a base hit. No chance for more. A leadoff single for Madej.
That's one way to get this UNC crowd on their feet. Madej just does a great job. He gets that ball, uses his hands, and just hits it perfectly in between first and second in that 4-hole to get on first.
Now the crowd comes alive. They've been waiting for it. Madej, by the way, extends his hitting streak to 15 games. The veteran catcher Tomas Frick now at the plate and looks at strike 1. Frick is 0 for 3. There's a lot of 0-fers today in this Tar Heel lineup, which has been stymied by Arkansas pitching. Tapper to the left side. That's a foul ball. Foul ball. Brian Marine, the third base umpire, putting the arms up as Wallace corralled it.
Ooh, boy, this was one of those close ones. This is the second time where that ball gets hit. Umpire is right all over it right away, puts his hands up. It's a foul ball. That ball did not cross third base. And that's a break if you're UNC right now.
You're not going to intimidate Hagen Smith after what he had to do in Stillwater against an incredibly dangerous team in front of a sellout crowd in Stillwater. He was the guy that shut him down, slammed the door, and clinched Arkansas's trip to this Super Regional. Dave Van Horn going with the hot hand in the freshman. 0-2 on the way, popped him up, came in on the hands, coming on is Webb. In shallow ground, puts it away for the first out. Why is winning game one so important? That's about as strong a number as you're going to find. 80% of teams that win game one go on to reach the College World Series. Arkansas won game one last year and then wound up dropping 2 in a row. So while it's a strong number, by no means would you count out the Tar Heels if they can't come back and win this game here in the 9th inning. We've got a pinch hitter, Eric Grintz, the sophomore from Glenmore, Pennsylvania, hitting .333 on the year. So the righty in for the lefty Stokely. That'll reach the seats into the Arkansas section. Should Smith have any problems, remember they've got their closer and one of the premier closers all year long in college baseball. They could always call upon Brady Tygart, another freshman. Tygart is the righty, Smith is the lefty.
And Mike, it's one of those situations where it's odd that you don't see him in the game right now. It's a save situation. You would think with the righties that UNC has that he would be coming in, but just like you said, Dave Van Horn, he's going with the hot hand, a guy that's been doing it, he's done well.
Midday taking second on the pitch, but that's not the run that matters. Down 3 here. That'll keep you out of the double play for sure. A ball and a strike for the pinch hitting Eric Grintz. Nowhere near, 2-1 to count. Colby Wilkerson is on deck. Kick and the 2-1 is fouled back out of play. It's a 2-2 count to Grintz. Wilkerson on deck and then back to the top of the order with Zarate. Smith went 2 scoreless innings, did not allow a hit, and finishing off Oklahoma State in Stillwater. He only needs 3 outs in this performance. Check swing, bouncer, foul. Again, Arkansas 33-1 this year when leading by 3 or more runs. The 1 loss coming to Alabama. Here's the 2-2. Tough pitch to take, and the count fills up on the sophomore.
If I'm Grinch right now, I know that I'm going to get a hittable pitch here. The last thing that you want to do, walk a guy and give UNC a chance to hit a 3-run home run to tie the ball game up. So you better be ready to swing that bat.
Turner sets up inside. That's where the pitch is, and it's right by the swinging bat of Grintz. Huge strikeout for Hagen Smith.
Oh, what a big strikeout. Grintz knows that he's going to be getting a fastball. And Smith says, well, I'm going to give it to you. Here it is. It's my best one. And is able to get it right over the bat of Grintz for the swing and miss. Huge out.
Final hope for the Tar Heels here in game 1 is Colby Wilkerson. He's 2 for 3 today. The 9-hole hitter has been swinging a hot bat of late. Smith pumps one in for strike 1. Wilkerson not a home run threat per se, but just trying to get on base and send a tying run to the plate. Off the end of the bat, little pop fly. Racing back is Stovall, foul ground, and can't find it. Tough play for the freshman. Tar Heels now down to their final strike. Hagen Smith, 18-year-old freshman, just circling the rubber. And we'll have to wait a little extra time as Scott Forbes wants to talk things over with his hitter, Colby Wilkerson. That was a very quick chat. I don't know what words of wisdom you can provide down in the count 0-2 against this guy.
Battle. That's all you're going to say. Battle. Give me everything you have.
Oh-2 pitch. Spiked in the dirt, blocked nicely by Turner. Again, we'll be back with you on ESPN for game 2. That'll be tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Brandon Schaefer, the expected starter for the Tar Heels, talented lefty. For Arkansas, it'll be the flame-throwing right-hander Jackson Wiggins. Infield playing straight up, 1-2 pitch, hit in the air. This should do it. Coming on, Lanzilli will give way to Webb, who makes the grab. And for the second consecutive year, Arkansas finds itself 1 win away from the College World Series in Omaha. Gabby Sanchez, some final thoughts.
I got to give it to Connor Nolan. He had a heck of a game, the way it started off and how he was able to overcome that first inning. They were able to score 3 in that 5th. It's really all they needed with this pitching staff of Arkansas.
Our final score, Arkansas wins it 4-1 for Gabby Sanchez and our fantastic ESPN crew. This is Mike Morgan saying so long from Chapel Hill. We'll see you on Sunday, 1 o'clock on ESPN for game 2. But right now, the Super Regionals continue. Notre Dame and Tennessee from Knoxville. Thanks so much for watching. So long, everybody.
Thanks, Mike, and we welcome you to Knoxville, home of the 1982 World's Fair, the #1 baseball team in the country. World's Fair is over. Tennessee's season may be as well. NCAA baseball. Side of the bracket in Omaha include A&M with an extra inning win walk-off last night against Louisville. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Knoxville. Tom Hart alongside Kyle Peterson, about 5,000 of our closest friends. And they'll get to see today the SEC Pitcher of the Year, Chase Dollander, and Tennessee needs Dollander to be that guy.
Yeah, they do. I mean, he has been that guy for the most part, except for last weekend. The Camels got to him a little bit in this ballpark. But you look at the balance of the season, Dollander's honestly been as good as anybody in the country. A 2.38 ERA. And a mix that you rarely see. It is elite control with elite stuff. The fastball will be in the mid-90s, a wipeout slider, a changeup when he needs to, and they need him today.
Fewer than 10 pitches into the game last night, Notre Dame hit a home run. They were magnificent. 4 home runs, and he scored 8 in the first 4 innings. Quite a departure from what we thought they were.
Yeah, those 4 home runs came in the first 4 innings, 1 in each of the first 4 frames. And for a Notre Dame team, you could see them really enjoying to hit in this ballpark. And once the first one went out, I think there was more confidence, and it really just fed the balance of the game.
Here's a look at the batting order for Tennessee. They've had to make a major adjustment. Drew Gilbert is suspended for this game after getting ejected yesterday, so they moved Trey Lipscomb in the cleanup spot. And Jared Dickey, who's battled his way through a foot injury, was tested during batting practice. Apparently he is good to go.
So you got 2 new guys in this Tennessee lineup. It's a pretty good feeling if you're putting new guys into the lineup that didn't play yesterday. Both of them have an OPS over 1,000. Tennessee will be fine.
Meanwhile, Notre Dame will send its ace to the hill. John Michael Bertrand gets the start. He was the most outstanding player in the Statesboro Regional. 24-year-old, is a 6th-year college student out of Alpharetta, Georgia. Transferred in from Furman. First team All-ACC, the ACC tournament team, and now this crafty lefty will go to work against the nation's best offense.
Left-handers had quite a year. It really is 4 pitches whenever he wants. You're not going to outthink him, man. This is a guy that really understands what he's trying to do. Stuff-wise, usually can do it, but Stevenson gets it started with a bang.
How important is early offense for Tennessee in this one?
I think it's huge, and honestly, Tennessee was the home team yesterday because they're the higher seed. Today it flips. I think if you asked Tony Vitello, he would have wanted to be the visitor today to get the offense out there. I mean, in his mind, ideally put a few points on the board, but get this place into it because it was really early and then late that I think the crowd played a factor. You're Tennessee, you want that to happen all 9 innings.
Ortega's got an OPS over 1,000. He hit a home run yesterday, 1 of 2 for Tennessee. And Vitello, the SEC Coach of the Year, has had to really reshuffle his entire order with Gilbert missing today. Breaking ball in for a strike to Jarrell Ortega. We'll see everything but the kitchen sink from John Michael Bertrand if the scouting report is true.
It's fastball, curveball, slider, changeup. But with a fastball on both sides, he's not afraid to challenge with a fastball glove side. So into the right-handed hitters. And he'll change some things as the game goes on based on what the hitter's showing.
Bertrand is a tremendous story. He got to Furman out of Blessed Trinity in Atlanta, tried out for the team and got cut, and then came back the next year. And they eventually said, yeah, you improved enough, we'll give you a chance. And oddly enough, one of the big reasons he's in a Notre Dame uniform was his performance against UNCG. Then had Link Jarrett as their head coach. Furman eventually shut down its program after the COVID year, and Bertrand showed up in South Bend where his brother is a star linebacker, and he fits in nicely. K's Ortega, 1 down.
So over the course of the season, it's 103 strikeouts, just 19 walks. And when Bertrand's got the slider going, which is this one, that's where he's going to try to finish right-handed hitters off, and that's the location he wants to do it. Almost bounce it right in front of that back foot. Got Ortega to swing right over the top.
Jordan Beck takes his time stepping in. 2 hits last night, including a home run. The reason Bertrand is starting game 2 is because of the weather delay that they went through in Statesboro last weekend. Started game 1 through just 26 pitches and only got 1 inning in it. Came back against Texas Tech on 2 days rest through 107. Deep center. This small park will hold it. And Spencer Myers puts it away for out number 2.
Now batting for the third baseman, number 21, Trey Lipscomb.
Trey Lipscomb showed some pop yesterday for Tennessee, 22 home runs on the season, and has some top 5 among SEC players this year. He's having a good postseason, 8 for 17. He is the second straight Tennessee hitter now to take his time getting into the batter's box. OPS of nearly 1,300. Is this routine for Lipscomb or Beck, or is this trying to irritate Bertrand's timing?
Well, he wants to work fast. And so I think if you're Tennessee, I think you want to operate at your own pace, but ideally slow him down a little bit. Lipscomb definitely taking his time. In the box right here, he hit his 22nd home run last night to right center. Changeup right there, down and away. You're going to see the changeup more to the right-handed hitters, which this lineup for Tennessee is pretty loaded with just 2 lefties in there today.
Lipscomb Sr. from Frederick, Maryland, first team All-SEC. And he sends a line shot back up the box. Stevenson's got wheels. He'll end up at third. Josh Elander's going to point him towards home. The throw from Zisco starting at left. And Tennessee's on the board. It was Myers who had the throw home, but Notre Dame's with the new left fielder Jack Ziska today instead of Ryan Cole, who's still battling the hamstring injury.
Yeah, with 2 outs, Stevenson's going the entire time the minute it's hit. This ball smoked. You could see the outfielders playing deep and playing pretty much straight up. So it's hit almost to exact left center field. Myers cuts it off. Josh Elander did not hesitate at third base. Stevenson leads it off with a single, scores on the Lipscomb double.
And that brings Evan Russell to the plate. As dynamic as Ryan Cole has been this season, and he is DHing, instead of playing left field, you wonder if Stevenson would have had a chance to score had Cole been in left field. Here's Russell, another senior. He's been around Lexington, Tennessee, 13 home runs in this season. He's driven in 44. Russell was in the 8-hole last night, went 0 for 4. So we've seen the changeup, now we've seen the curveball.
We saw the slider to punch out Ortega and the fastball. He showed all 4 in the first. Easiest way to tell that curveball and slider apart is going to be velocity. Curveball is going to be mid to upper 70s. Slider is going to be low 80s. Curveball has a little bit more top to bottom, and usually when he's going to try to finish somebody off, he'll do it with the slider over the curveball.
Can a pitcher in this scenario have too many pitches? How do you refine your attack against the nation's #1 offense?
Well, I think ultimately, you got to determine from a matchup standpoint which ones you want to use in certain spots. So can you steal a strike with something? When you get into a punch-out spot like he does right here, how do you want to finish guys? And then as the game goes on, sometimes it changes based on the swings they've shown.
Into center. Spencer Myers is there. Tennessee got some swings in early. Volunteers with a couple of hits. And they're trying to get that offense cooking. A little jambalaya in East Tennessee. It's 1-0.
Yes, sir,
Balls.
baby. Go Balls. Go Balls.
It's a 1-0 lead for Tennessee. Here's a look at the batting order for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, and the 2 through 5 hitters slugged their way to a Notre Dame win yesterday. Combined .529 average with 4 home runs.
You get a highlight, you get a highlight, you get a highlight. You get a home run, that's the way it works. Notre Dame, 4 in the first 4 innings. Now Chase Dolander, SEC Pitcher of the Year. A guy that ultimately not draft eligible this year is next year. He could be the first arm that comes off the board, and we'll see how the entire season goes. From a stuff standpoint, it's everything you want to see. It's power stuff, it's elite control. Pretty good combination. 103 strikeouts, just 13 walks this year for Dolander in 72 innings.
However, that last start against Campbell, which you mentioned in the open, only 2 2/3, and he allowed 4 runs. What was the difference?
Well, I mean, it's a Campbell offense that can't come in and swing it, and I think, and I expect this to be the approach for Notre Dame, aggressive early because it doesn't walk anybody. If they're getting the fastballs early, that's where you see Dolander have to mix it up, and he has the ability to. He can land the slider. See if Notre Dame forces him to do that early in counts.
Ryan Cole, the leadoff hitter for the Irish, got a 23-game on-base streak, and he looks at a first pitch 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Cole was 1 for 4 last night. They lifted him late in the game, and even though he's insisted that the hamstring is fine, it's the reason why he's not starting in the field in this one. Originally injured it against Miami a few weeks ago. And Cole pops this one into the seats, 1-2.
The first pitch he saw last night, 97-mile-an-hour fastball from Blade Tidwell into left field, and that kind of set the tone immediately. Notre Dame was aggressive with everything, hit both fastballs and sliders out against Tidwell.